Joe Rogan Podcast. Check it out.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan Podcast by night, all day.
No glasses or no glasses?
Let's see what
I like them.
you like them?
They look good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You like them?
Yeah,
Try them on?
they
Try them
look
on. Let me see what they
fucking
look like. Dude, those look fucking tough. Those are tough, dude. These fucking look good, dude. You got to get a pair of glasses, dude. Do you need glasses?
I do for reading.
Those are what I can't see my phone without them.
Really?
Yeah, I can't fucking see my phone without these.
What power are those?
It's I believe it's one eye is different than the other. It's just prescription.
One eye's different than the other, really?
Yeah, like one can see better or something like that.
Did you get injured? Or is it just
No,
natural?
I just around 4. I think they call reading glasses in England 45s because around 45 is when your eyes start going.
That's what happened to me.
Yeah.
That's probably exactly when it happened to me. I remember doing the podcast,
Yeah.
and I couldn't read off a laptop. I was actually doing a podcast with Neil deGrasse Tyson, and I wanted to ask him about something, and I pulled up the laptop. I was like, I can't fucking read this.
Yeah, I out of nowhere. I had perfect sight, everything.
Yeah, it just falls off like a cliff.
45, boom, couldn't
But
read.
you know what? There's a way to stop it in its tracks. There's supplements that you could take. There's a company called Pure Encapsulations, and they have a thing called macular support. And I started taking macular support, and it stopped it. Stopped it in its tracks.
Really?
Yeah, so now I can read my phone. Like, it might have even actually got a little bit better. So, like, I don't have a problem reading my phone, like reading text messages
Right.
and shit. It's no problem.
Well,
but I prefer, like, if I'm reading an article, I'll read with glasses on.
Well, the thing that sucks too is that they don't make cool glasses for men, reading glasses.
Those are fucking cool.
Well, this is
They have, like, a nice red tint to them.
this is from this guy in the East Village, my friend Anthony.
They look like they're from the East Village.
He's
They do. They look cool.
yeah. This guy makes them. Like this is like a Rolex. There's 500 of these made. This is 230 something of 500.
Why doesn't he make more?
It's not him. It's I can't read it. Inside Jean Paul whoever.
Oh, so it's like a designer.
But he's a what is it?
Optometrist?
Optometrist. Hard word to fucking pull. But he's cool as shit. Like you walk in and he customizes everything. Like he'll take this fancy the glass frame and then he'll be like, let's put this tint on it. Let me do this. And then you go in and he'll sand it down to fit your nose.
Ooh, that's nice.
So you can pick like all these crazy frames and then he makes it yours, which is great. I mean, it costs money, but I love shit like that.
It seems like it's worth it, though.
I love when people take something and make it unique and not everybody has it.
Customize.
I love
Yes.
people who customize shit like that.
Yes.
Like this guy could just be, yep, here's your prescription, here's your Bausch and Lombs or whatever, stupid glasses. He's like, I'm getting the coolest frames on the planet that are, he get this one with, you'd look good in these too. They have Thunderbirds, silver Thunderbird going down the side. It's like Elvis would buy these glasses.
Dude,
like,
I'm in.
You have to be, you have to be the motherfucker to wear these glasses, and they're like $1,600.
Are they online? Can I see what they look like?
Yeah, his name's Anthony. Shit, I forget his name. Yeah, he has a whole Instagram. I can't. No, not Anthony. Shit. Where's my phone? I can't.
Go grab your phone. Go
Hang on
grab
a
your
sec.
phone.
I'll tell you.
I want to see these. Because those are dope. The ones you have, I love the red tint. There's something about rose-colored glasses. I remember one time I was like super high, and I put on a pair of rose.
Anthony Aiden.
What is
Anthony Aiden. Sorry.
Yep, Anthony Aiden.
Is this
That's
him right here? There he is.
This
Anthony
guy.
Aiden Opticians.
Coolest guy ever.
East
and
Village. Where's
Yeah.
the Thunderbird ones?
Thunderbirds, yeah. Type in Thunderbird.
Here we go.
I wanted
Is it
these
a
glasses
search?
so bad I couldn't pull the trigger though because I'm just not,
0 results for Thunderbirds. What about Thunderbird?
Yeah, I got a
no?
picture of it.
No, nothing for birds. Just go through the catalog and see if you can find it. They look dope though. Page 1 of 5.
Look at these glasses. Jean, okay. There you go. Now you're getting there.
Look at these.
Jean, oh yeah. I don't know. Maybe there's a Thunderbird on the side.
Maybe they have them like behind the case.
No, he only gets one pair in black, one pair in tortoiseshell, and they're like $1,700 without prescription.
Wow.
And and they're fucking nuts. Yeah, those are my glasses right there.
The ones right there?
Those are the ones he made those and put them up on his site.
Very nice.
Yeah. Here, let me see. I got this picture of it. But I love guys like this who just take something and make it better.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's cool. Craftsmanship.
Exactly. That's exactly the word. I craftsmanship.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of craftsmanship.
Me too. Yeah, I love when people make shit. You know, I love when people make art. I love when people make like tables, like this table. When I got this table done, I love the fact that somebody carved this. This is our friend Drew.
Yeah.
What was Drew's last name, Jamie? Who did the table? Drew Teague. He's a bad motherfucker, and he made us this table. We had another one like this at the old studio, but it was a little bit too big. It was enormous, and so we had him construct this.
Well, you look at a table like this, and you're like, yeah, I could do that. And then you realize how hard. I watch wood stuff on Instagram all the time. It's my favorite. Just seeing some guy taking a tree and making it into something is nuts to me.
Why is that so? It's so satisfying, right? Watching someone carve things out of wood and saw and hammer and nail and make it all precise.
Yeah, like there's so much that goes into it, and this one dude is just sitting there, and it was a tree. It was in a forest, and now it's in somebody's house, and generations are going to eat off this thing and talk about fucking everything.
Yeah.
My table's from the 50s.
Really?
I got we moved into my house up in Westchester. They were like, you want to buy this furniture, $500 because the lady was dying or whatever. And she lived in the house her whole life. And I looked at it, I'm like 100% because it's mid-century modern, furniture. It's like the Danish were making this furniture. You know, Europe was making these amazing wood furniture back, like Mad Men type of furniture, right? And America started making them. I was like, this is that stuff. So we took it. And I found out the table's worth $2,800. The chairs are worth, $250 each. The liquor cabinet's worth $4,000. All the stuff we got was from the 50s when she got it. And I'm sitting there going, this whole family grew up on this table. And now it's very important in my house that when I'm home, we have dinner. Me and my wife and my son, we sit at the table and we have dinner. And I talk because that's the time where
you bond. Find out about your day.
You need a break from your day.
Yeah.
Where, you're doing all this shit and now you're going to sit here and just talk. No iPads, no homework, no fucking Instagram, no bullshit. Just sit down and talk. And it's like, what was the best part? What was the worst part of your day? And well, this happened. Recess, of course. I'm like, no, fucking recess don't count. Lunch, nope, don't count.
Yeah.
And we shit this table, and then someone's going to buy this table in 50 years.
It's probably worth even more. It's like you can't recreate a 1950s table. It is you can make a copy of it, but it's not a 1950s. There's something about an old thing that's like baked in memories and thoughts. And,
like there's a scrape on the table.
Yeah.
That's from their kid. I know it. That their kid did some stupid shit, and she goes, "You scraped the table."
Yeah,
and that he's got to be like 60 now. And if he came and saw it, he'd be like, "Dude, I did that when I was like 7. I just got a fork and I started scraping." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a story behind that shit. It's like a Rolex. When you get a really nice watch, the craftsmanship that goes into that watch. Fuck the watch. Like, oh, I got a Rolex. It's not about that. There's like
engineering.
The engineering of it, and then when you scratch it for the first time, you get so bummed out. But that's your scratch. You know what I mean? So the next guy that gets this watch, or my son when he gets it, that's my life.
There's a big market for those really old Rolexes. People love those real old ones. Go to Bob's. Bob's watches. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, no, I know Bob.
You're a watch guy.
I like watches. Yeah, I'm a big fan of watches. Yeah,
yeah,
I love
me
them.
too.
I love them. I go to Mayer's in Tampa, and I go to Watches of Switzerland in New York.
What is Mayer's?
Mayer's is a big watch place in
just a
in
watch
Tampa.
collector's place?
No, they're just Watches
Jewelry
of Switzerland. It's like an authorized Rolex dealer. So you want to go?
You're just all about Rolexes?
I know. I like German watches. I like watches. Like when I toured with Louis in Europe this year, in Paris. I was like, I want to get a French watch. I got this $400 watch called Lip. It's just LIP. It's a nice watch. It's a diver's watch. It's $400, but it's gorgeous. I like watches. I have 2 Phoenix, the Garmin watches. I love the Garmin watch because it lasts
Yeah.
for 68 days.
Yeah, I've got one of those.
They're the
Yeah.
best. Like Apple Watch, I got one of those, but it lasts 24 hours. And you got to recharge it, and if you
They have
don't
a new
recharge-
one, the Ultra.
Looks
Lasts
good,
a couple
yeah.
of days.
Yeah,
But it's
I'm-
fat. It's like a toaster.
it's still like 2 days. Like the Garmin it's 68
Yeah.
days.
Yeah.
If you
and
set it
it
right.
also, like, if you run the GPS, it's less. But I mean,
Yeah.
it has that option. You could run GPS on it. Like you could track your whereabouts and shit.
100%. Yeah,
it's
something
nice.
about. I love watches. I love that whole. I love knives.
Me
Like,
too.
Did you get a Jack Lore yet?
No, what is that?
It's a bushcraft knife.
Bushcraft.
Yeah,
Are you learning bushcraft, Bobby?
dude, buddy, I'm telling you.
By the way, you should never take those glasses off.
Why?
They're perfect for you,
Oh,
aren't they? They're perfect.
I got to take them off at some point,
Every now and then. Take them off when you fuck.
dude. Yeah. Well, then I guess I'm never taking them off. I'm 15 years married. Fucking goddamn it.
Bushcraft.
Bushcraft, dude. I love bushcraft.
What does that mean? What does that word mean?
I mean,
It means like
I don't.
learning how to like live in the bush, right?
I'm not. I'm not a bushcrafter. You ever heard of me and Ari and Joe List, the Bushcraft Party Boys?
No.
You've never.
He's saying like it's like a fucking hit album or something.
It was.
How would I know?
It was a fucking hit. It was a hit,
I've never heard of it. What's
It
the
wa-
Bushcraft Party Boys? What does that mean?
dude. Bushcrafting is like when you go in the woods and you survive. You make a
Right.
shelter.
Right.
You make a chair. You get all the stuff you need.
Do you know how to do all that
And
stuff?
yeah, I know how to do it.
Can you
Not-
start a fire
100%.
with flint?
Yeah, I haven't done flint, but I have a flint. I do have a steel and flint, but I have a ferro rod. It comes with the knife,
Oh.
like a bushcraft. Like this guy, Jack Lore, and Ray Mears is the guy who started it in England. Big bushcraft guy, and they'll just go out in the woods. And did it go out?
Yeah, thank you.
And they have these knives that you can pretty much do everything with. Like you just go in, you'll make a shelter. Everything with this knife you can do.
Is that you guys?
That's us. That's the Bushcraft Party
Where
Boys.
were you guys? That's beautiful.
So, dude, I'll tell you,
Gorgeous. Where is that? That's beautiful.
that's in New York. That's the Catskills.
Oh, that's a good place to get Lyme disease.
So we go up. This is so crazy. We go up. All right, check this out. We go up. I find the spot where we're gonna go hiking. Right. So we hike 2 miles up this road. It's an old dirt road that they used to, horse and buggy used to go up, and you get to the top and there's an old hotel, but it's all just the frame of it.
Dilapidated,
Yeah.
yeah.
But it's creepy and beautiful and awesome. You get to the top. It's 2 hours up to the top. Then you go down the other side and it's a regular trail. And that's another 2 hours down to this lake. I forget what lake it is, Echo Lake. And it's called primitive camping.
This is beautiful. That lake is so pretty.
It's unbelievable. And it's all beavers are in there. You can see all the trees. There's a photo of it.
Are there fish in that lake?
Yeah, there's fish. There's everything.
Did you guys fish?
No, we didn't fish. We're not fishing. But I brought filet mignons, Italian sausages.
Nice. Did you?
Yeah, I cooked
Look at
everything.
that. Did you film that coyote?
No. So we're out there, and I'm the one who kind of knows about all this stuff. So I told him about the bears. So we get up there. I'm like, this is how you got to hang a bear bag. You got to, if you're going to take a shit, it's got to be 150 feet from the trail and water. You got to dig it out. You poop. You can't just shit.
Right.
You have to dig it out, poop, wipe, put that in the hole, take baby wipes. You got to carry that out with you back in a Ziploc bag. All this stuff. Snakes. There's huge rattlesnakes up in the Catskills. Big rattlesnakes up there.
Really?
Yeah, you have to be very careful of rattlesnakes.
So is there a lot of black bears up there? Is that what it is?
There's black bears up there. I told them about that, but they're going to stay away. I was just don't have food in your tent. You can't. There's certain things like because we're primitive camping. There's nobody around.
Right.
There's nobody around for 4 hours.
How deep did you get in there? How far did you walk in?
We walk 4 hours in.
Like,
So
what is
2
it?
hours up, 2 hours down the back.
Wow.
So if somebody gets hurt, it's going to be a problem. So we were, I mean, I cooked up a storm. I have this, it's called the firebox. It's this little steel box that's flat
Sure, I
and
know
then it
what that
opens
is.
up. Right.
Yeah.
I cooked everybody rice pilaf. We had this sick meal.
Dude, look at you. You guys have rain gear and
Oh,
everything?
everything. We had
Wow.
we had food. We had cigars. We had the fire.
How many days you guys stay up there?
We did one day. We went up for one night, packed up.
That's fucking beautiful.
So we get into I went early because I'm old. So I get into my tent around 11:30. Around 1:30, I hear them zipping up that tent.
Mm-hmm.
And they get in. And then as soon as they got in their tent, a pack of coyotes. And I don't know if you ever heard a pack of coyotes.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
I've never heard them. I didn't understand the noise. It doesn't sound.
wow.
It sounds like something's being murdered.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, something like that. It's like,
Yeah.
It's the scariest fucking sound.
You know what they're doing when they do that? They do
have-
roll call.
Is that what they're doing?
Yeah, they're making sure either they kill something and they want to let everybody know that they killed something, so they let all the other coyotes know, or they're doing roll call. And here's what's interesting. When they do roll call, if one of the coyotes doesn't respond, that means the coyote probably got killed. And when a coyote gets killed, the female coyotes in the pack produce more litter. It's one of the reasons why coyotes are everywhere. They're one of the most unusual animals in North America in that when their populations decrease, the female litters increase. Like they make more babies
Right.
and they spread their territory out.
Right.
Because they used to be limited to the West. But then when in the 1800s and the 1900s, when people started shooting them and running them off, like when they extirpated the wolves, like wolves are basically they were.
Did you just use the word extirpated?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
When
have
they,
no idea what
when
that
they
means.
removed the wolves.
Thank you for dumbing it down.
Yeah, when they removed all the they killed all the wolves
Right.
in the West. When they were doing that to the coyotes, it didn't work. The coyotes just spread out. And now there's coyotes in every city in America.
Yeah.
And they're wolves.
I just saw one got hit on the West Side Highway.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
They're in Manhattan. They're
Yeah.
all over Central Park. And then people are like, no way. Like, yeah, there's videos of them in the Bronx.
They're in my neighborhood.
Abandoned houses.
100%.
Yeah.
But dude, we're 4 hours away from anything. It's 1:30 in the morning. It's me, Ari Shafir, and Joe List. Not the
Most
not the Navy
robust humans.
Not the Navy SEAL team you're looking for, right? You know, I'm huge, right?
Did you guys bring a firearm or anything?
I had my knife, my bushcraft knife.
Oh, well, there you go.
Ari had one. I gave Joe List my broken buck knife that he didn't know was broken, and I had bear spray. I
Okay.
took bear spray just in case,
Just
you know.
in case.
And I mean, they screamed, dude. It was terrifying, terrifying. The
Yeah.
noise is terrifying. And then right when it stopped, Joe List went, "What do we do about that?" I was like- and
That's
then
awesome.
Then my pad, my sleeping pad broke. It just pops.
Oh, you got one of those air pads?
No, it was
Yeah.
just, dude. I'm huge at the time. I'm fucking massive. It's not wasn't my weight. You know what I mean? It just popped it. So I got to keep rolling around all night. Ari keeps hearing me roll around trying to get my pad together, and he thinks I'm being attacked. So Ari in the middle of the night, Bobby, what the fuck's happening? Are you all right? Are you all right? I'm like, I'm fucking fine. My pad's broken. Shut the fuck up. It was so crazy. Yeah, it was great. We've done it a couple times.
Oh, that's awesome.
We've gone out a couple times. I got a whole show I'm shooting next summer, comedy camp.
Really?
Yeah, dude, I'm taking 5 comics up into the woods for 5 days. No cell phones.
If you take,
no managers, no nothing.
if you bring no managers, that's hilarious.
Nope.
Would your manager want to go?
Well,
Whose
you know,
fucking manager would want to go there?
Well, some of these things that, there's a hotel or you break or you go back to the thing or your agent's
yeah.
there. Dude, I'm taking Jim Norton. I'm taking Russell Peters, Beth Stelling. I'm taking myself. And there's one more comic we're going to pick. We're going to the woods for 5 days. And
That's
we're
amazing.
We're going to do bushcrafting. Like you're going to light the fire and you get patches on your sash like a Girl Scout. And whoever raise money for charity, whoever wins gives a certain amount of money to the charity. You're going to do a solo in the woods by yourself, set up your camp, set up your fire, do all that shit for comics. It's like the show Alone, right? Mm-hmm. It's one of my favorite shows ever.
It's a great show.
It's such a good show.
I had one of the guys who won on the podcast.
I saw it.
It was really, really interesting. He's fascinating.
They all are.
This guy lived with the tribal people in Siberia.
Right.
He lived with reindeer herders which is really amazing.
See, I love. If I had another life, dude, I would go do that shit.
Yeah.
I would go. I would just fuck all. Just let it go, and go how to just live. You know, those guys are out there. What a show concept! How whoever stays the longest wins, and you can always tell who's going to be kicked off or who's going to leave first. I miss my kid.
Well, that guy Jordan who went out there, he was stealing. He was stealing because he had so much information. He was like it was like a rigged game.
Is that the guy who killed the moose?
Yeah, like he was so far ahead of everybody. It's like he was stealing money. It's like you're not staying out there longer than that guy.
Well, yeah, but it's funny because the guys who have the kids and the wife that they love, they're gone.
Yeah,
They're just done.
it's hard.
It's hard, I get it, but it's like it's 3 days in and you're like, I miss my wife. It's like, dude, shut up. Just
Yeah,
at
just
least do
accept
20
it.
days. You know what I mean? And
Jordan did I think 60.
60 something days. I think the
Yeah.
most is 80 something.
Wow.
And this guy, I think he had a sharp shovel, and he just knew how to do it. I forget his name. I follow him on Instagram. But that guy, he knows that fat is the key to surviving.
Well, remember a Wolverine ate his
It is
fat?
fat. Yeah.
And so he had to kill the Wolverine.
It's
So
great.
he killed the Wolverine with a fucking axe.
Yeah. That's some man shit.
That's hard shit.
That's some hardcore shit.
I ran into a badger when I was in. Did I tell you about this, Jamie? I didn't tell you. I ran into a badger when I was in Utah in the mountains hunting
Yeah.
a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And we stopped the truck. The headlights were on. This badger was in the middle of the road, and I said, "Let me go get a fucking photo with this badger." And as I walked up to it and started filming it, its hair went up and it started walking towards me.
Yeah.
This little thing.
Yeah.
And I'm
No
like,
joke.
"Oh, whoops, gotta go!" I fucking jumped
Did
back.
you see that video of the badger fighting a pack of lions?
I've seen that. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
No, it's amazing.
And it won.
Yeah, they're fucking terrifying animals. They're so ferocious. How am I find this? 'Cause I got this in here. It's amazing that an animal that small, like a wolverine or a badger,
Yeah.
that big animals are terrified of it.
Yeah.
Like big predators are terrified of it. Like what the fuck? What are they doing? Let me find this.
But that show's so great, but even that guy, because it's like, okay, fine. I know the animals, the moose will kill you, Wolverine will kill you, but if you know what you're doing, you're the top of the food chain.
Yeah, if you know what you're doing.
If you know what you're doing, you're the top. And that guy was pretty amazing.
Well, humans with weapons are always at the top of the food chain, but humans without weapons are at the bottom. I mean, you can get killed by a rat. Like you have very little shot at anything. You're a human with no weapon.
Right.
Got it in here somewhere. I'm not gonna find. Oh, there it is. Here, I'll send this to you, Jamie.
Cigar is so good, dude.
They're good, right?
No, this is one of the most people who get a cigar. Like, it's my cigar. It's garbage.
I know. Like when Nick from Foundation Cigars sent these to me, I was very skeptical.
Yeah.
Very skeptical.
It's such a great cigar. I mean, it's one of my favorites, and it's crazy you can't even get it.
Well, look at it. This is it right here. So, give me some volume here. So this is we're it's like just at the end of the day. Hey man.
Hey, man.
So I'm just walking up to it trying to film it.
Jesus.
And I'm like, nope, gotta go. See ya.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. Anytime somebody sees an animal, we always talk to them like it's like a surfer. Hey, what's
Yeah.
up, dude?
What up, bro?
Hey, bro. Hey, man. You cool, dude? Yeah, you not cool? Okay.
I'd never seen one in a while before.
That's wild.
They're just such an interesting looking, like a little pit bull covered in fur. Just
Right.
like,
It's funny because I bought a tiny house. I was telling you up in New Hampshire, and I want to see animals so bad. We go up in the summertime for 2 months. And,
you don't see anything up there?
I haven't seen. I saw a deer, but I know
A
there's
deer?
I know there's bear. I know there's a lot of bear. I know there's a lot of meerkats and you know mountain lions and stuff like that. But I haven't seen them. When you want to see them, is when you don't see them.
There's moose up there too.
Moose. There's everything up there. There was more animal sightings in Westchester on my ring cam than there was.
The deer in Westchester are off the charts.
It's great.
There's so many.
There's bear too. There's bear.
Yep.
There's a bobcat.
Wow.
There's a bobcat. There's coyote everywhere.
Well, they have a real bear problem in New Jersey. You want to know about this? This is kind of crazy. The highest population of bears in the entire country is in New Jersey.
That's crazy
There's more bears per capita in New Jersey.
because you can't kill them.
because you can't kill them now. They used to be able to until this new governor. This new governor came along. Like, let's stop the bear hunt. Because they're teddy bears and they're yogi and they're our friends. Did you see the video? I posted the video on my Instagram yesterday of a hiker. He's climbing up this mountain, and the bear comes down the mountain and tries to eat him.
Yeah, I saw that.
And he's like
kicking
screaming, and the noises this guy makes. Pull that up. The noises this guy makes are so fucking primal. He's like, ah, 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 because he's about to get. Let me give me some. Look at that thing. That's a small bear too. He's lucky. That's probably like a 6-foot bear.
I can't fuck with him though, dude, because you think you'd do something.
No, there's not much you can do. It was really interesting. Like, you play it again because at the beginning of it, it comes right down at him, right down from the top, and tries to bite him, and then runs back at him.
He's lucky he had the high ground after that.
He kicks like a bitch too. He's lucky. He's lucky that bear did just bite his foot off. Poor guy, man. Those noises. Jesus Christ, those noises are so primal. Poor dude.
Is that what you calling him?
Yeah.
Primal?
That's ah! You know, Anthony Cumia sent me a text message this morning. He was like, that's like what you would, like caveman noises. You'd expect a caveman, like, ah, ah, ah. Like, that's what it sounds like. It's like the fucking, the DNA of you, like forget about your language, just noise. Ah, ah.
Because you don't know, I always think I know what I do. Bear. You know, you're supposed to, you see the back bear.
Yeah.
Like in my head, but if that happened to me, I'd probably make the same.
100% I'd make that noise.
Probably a little higher pitched.
Well, 100% I'd have a gun.
Yeah.
So I'd shoot that thing right in the fucking face, 100%. You know, you can only kick them so many times. Like if you have a gun on you, that's way better. Yeah. That situation is scary because people get eaten by bears all the time. It is a common occurrence.
But bear spray, I heard this, bear spray is less effective than regular mace.
Really?
Because they don't want to hurt, we can go wash our eyes out. Bears can't. So they make it less powerful because they can't wipe their eyes off. So they
is that true?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I mean, it's true because I said it.
I would have thought it'd be more powerful. They come in these big canisters.
No, it's less powerful because they can't go wipe their face off. You know, they can't go to a lake and just get their eyes out, you know? So they make it less powerful.
Oh.
I mean, that's a fact from me.
Fuck that. Then.
Then
I would take mace. Yeah, I don't give a fuck if they're washing their eyes out.
I heard bears, but they don't, like a black bear. A black bear, you become bigger. A brown bear, you become smaller, right?
It depends. That situation.
And a polar bear, you just fucking
bear.
say goodbye.
Yeah, polar bear, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Polar bears are different because they only eat meat.
Right.
So a black bear will eat berries and it'll eat leaves and grass and it'll also eat meat. A grizzly bear, same thing. Polar bear, there's no grass where it lives. So all they do is eat meat. They're the most predatory of all bears.
Yeah. Yeah.
You ever heard of a short-faced bear?
No.
That was the bear that probably kept human beings from crossing the Bering Strait. The Bering landmass during the Ice Age, when the continents were connected and you could walk from Asia to America, there was a bear called the short-faced bear that died off when all the megafauna died somewhere around 12,000 years ago. There was a mass extinction of megafauna, and the short-faced bear was amongst them. It was like twice the size of a polar bear.
Jesus Christ.
And it had long limbs, so it's like a cat. Find a photo of a short-faced bear in comparison to a person.
Holy shit.
Look at the fucking size of that thing. I mean, could you imagine if you saw that thing running towards you? Like, that's it. You're done.
But this is why I love man, because they found a way to take that down and make a coat out of it.
with a rock connected to a stick.
Yeah, they were like, listen, man.
Fucking look at that thing, man. Just imagine being a primitive man with like animal skins covering your dick, wandering through the forest trying to find a squirrel to feed to your children.
Why don't they make a movie? They made one movie a long time ago with a crazy bear. I don't know if you remember it. I forget the name of it. There was, some nuclear lake and the animals ate out of it and tadpoles were this big. And there was a fucking bear like that just going around killing everybody.
What was it called?
It started with a P. It was scary as shit, though.
Prophecy.
Prophecy.
Oh, I remember
Remember this movie?
That was 1979?
Right.
Wow, I didn't know. You know that's when Alien was? The movie Alien? That was 1979.
Really?
Yeah, I thought it was way later than that. That's Prophecy.
Yeah.
Look at that fucking stupid thing.
That thing, it's people just be in a tent and it just goes, and just.
Oh my God,
just
that's
a tent.
amazing.
Yeah, look at the car.
That's amazing. Look
That's
at
like,
nice truck.
look at that
What is that,
bear.
a Defender? That's an old Jeep, maybe? That's a fucking, that's hilarious. Yeah, you think you would have like, oh, this is the movie? Cool old cars.
Oh, look who's in it.
Oh my God, what's her face from Rocky?
And that sucked that she's what's her face from Rocky.
That's what she is.
I know, but
That's what's her face from Rocky.
it's Adrian.
Talia Shire?
Tyler, that's what's his name's sister.
Who? Polly's sister.
No.
Yeah, she was hot.
The guy who directed the Godfather.
Oh, really?
Francis Ford Coppola. What am I?
That's
an
his
ass?
sister?
That's his sister.
No, she was hot in Rocky.
Smoking.
When he took the glasses off of her,
yeah.
I was like, holy shit, she's hot under
How
that.
hot was she in Rocky 3?
Ooh, when she got pretty. When Rocky got pretty too. Remember, he was all handsome. He had the suit on.
Shredded.
Yeah. Yeah, got soft, Rock.
When he got the robot, the gay robot.
Look at
It's the
that.
greatest robot ever.
Prophecy. What
That's
the
it.
fuck? That's the tadpole?
No, that
what is that?
That's
a bear
I think
baby?
that's a baby bear.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
No, that's a wolf.
in the nuclear lake.
Yeah, the lake and the tadpole they
Look at these
take out
people.
is
Let
nuts.
me climb in this fucking nuclear lake and let this thing free. Imagine there's a lake filled with nuclear radiation that's turning a tadpole into that thing. And this guy's
great.
like, let's climb on in with no hazmat suits. Oh, we got a helicopter? Let me bring this thing to safety. He's cuddling that little baby. Yeah, we'll bring it to safety. And then the big bear comes looking for its baby. Is that the story?
Yeah, I think that is the story.
And then
They
what's
go-
her name from Rocky? Like,
Yeah, that's-
fucking saves the day.
She's so pretty.
She was hot.
God, she's gorgeous.
Yeah. That's like the best looking kind of Italian woman. Those features.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
What a
bear.
stupid movie.
It's a dumb movie. Stupid, but it's great.
There's some great
They
dumb
should
movies
they
from
should
those
make
days.
they should make a new bear movie
They should.
with one of those.
Yeah, or maybe a short-faced bear. Like maybe someone brings one of those things back to life.
Right.
Well, they're trying to bring back woolly mammoths. There's a lot of assholes that want to bring back everything. Like 90% of everything that ever lived is extinct. I think it's more than 90%. Things go extinct. They're bad designs. Fuck the dodo bird. It's over. Let it go. Don't bring it back.
I want a dodo bird.
You
I
know?
want a pterodactyl. I want a pterodactyl to eat all the fucking pigeons in New York.
There was a place on Earth where they thought that pterodactyls were still alive.
Get the fuck.
Yeah, there was like one of them legend things where people were claiming to see enormous bird-like creatures that had like 17-foot wingspans, and they were thinking that pterodactyls still existed. It was like
think I saw
some
that.
tropical place.
Was it Tampa?
Fort
Dude,
Lauderdale.
I'm telling you, Tampa's.
It's wild.
I stay at my friend, Mike Calta, right?
Mm-hmm.
I stay at his house when I go down there. I play the side splitters, right? Speaking of Tampa, I filmed my special down there too. Not to segue into that fucking
Special
plug.
looks great.
Did you get it?
Yeah, I did. And it's on Louis? You doing it on louisck.com?
LouisCK.com. He's the best, dude. He came
I
to
love him
me.
to death.
I was opening for him in Europe, and he was like, "Do you have a special?" I was like, "No, I can't. Nobody will give me one.
There it is. Killbox.
Nobody will give me one." And he's like, "I'm shooting your special."
What club was this at?
We made this because I told him. We sat down and like, "What do you want to do?" I was like, "Elvis's '68 special, his comeback special. I want that look where 10 by 10 stage." 12 inches off the ground, surrounded by people. I want it to be like the best, like the cellar, sides, kill box. You know that's
Oh,
a term that
yeah.
we use.
Yeah.
But dude, the place is a kill box, the store.
Nice.
Kill box. So we created this stage where Coastal Creatives in St. Pete. We went in there and they were like, "You can do whatever you want." They gave us carte blanche. So Louis got his whole team, his Emmy, Grammy award-winning team that does all his specials, and put them on me. And he showed up, and we shot this special. I tried to get a outfit like Elvis, but nothing fit at the time, so I could only get that jacket, and I couldn't zip it. But we shot this special, man. And
So that was Anthony Giordano's crew. The same people that do my stuff.
Is it?
Yeah, they do all my specials too.
Dude, I
Yeah,
can't.
they're the best.
Because I wrote this on a piece of paper. I drew it. Like, this is what I want. And
Yes,
and then
yeah.
you show up that day and you're like, holy shit.
Anthony is he's the director of the UFC.
Is he?
Yes. And he's directed my first special for
I don't know
me
if it was
in
him.
2009.
It was-
I know he does Louis.
Well, then I think he was involved. Brady was involved. Leah.
Yeah, Brady.
Brady. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
that's
yeah.
the people. Positive image.
Yeah. I mean, everybody.
They're the best.
They
They're
were
the best.
I couldn't believe that I went into this empty space. You go in there and you can do whatever you want. And I came back on show day, and I walked in and they did it. That's why I love show business. That's why I love Hollywood. That's the part I love.
People can make things happen.
It's like impossible to me. Like in my head, I'm like, dude. And then Louis comes in. I step on stage. I'm like, dude, I love it. It's perfect. Louis comes in because he's a genius. And he goes, this is wrong. That's wrong. Put this over there. Do this. I need 50 more people over here. I need 75. Put tickets, Bobby. Go to your Instagram. Sell more tickets. I want to fill this in. 30 minutes. And he made it 100% better.
Wow.
Because he just sees what he wants. He changed camera views. He did all this stuff. And they had, and then by the time we shot, it was unbelievable. And we did 2 shows. A lady almost died.
Why? What happened?
Dude, I go on stage. I got Mike Calter's band, Pitbull Toddler, just a Florida, a bunch of chubby dudes in T-shirts, drumming. Just, they're awesome. They just jamming, kicking ass. And he's one of my best friends. He's my best friend, Mike Calter. And he goes, ladies and gentlemen, with his radio voice, give it up for Robert Kelly. Camera goes down. I walk out. It's perfect. I get on stage. I'm like, this is great. 20 minutes in, I'm like, in your head, you're filming specials. I got it. I'm in it.
Yeah.
I'm in it. I'm in this. And then I hear, help her. And I was like, what the fuck? Please help her. Center stage, second row, this guy's wife just,
Caesar?
I don't know. And I go, is she all right? He goes, no, Bobby. Now he's using my name,
Oh,
which
Jesus.
is fucking nuts. Bobby, help
Did you
her.
keep it in the special?
It's not in the special. Dude, this is the fucking nuts. So we're going to release it later.
Oh, no.
but
Did you get a release from her?
I'm going to talk to him. But so I go, here, give her my water. So I give her my stage water. And I mean, chairs are flipped, lights are on. I'm off stage. There's chairs on the stage I was just murdering on at my special. And everybody knows when you shoot a special, you have 2 shows. The first one you get, the second one is just to have fun, right?
Right.
And I was doing it. I'm off stage. I immediately get a stress eye headache. I'm like, my head's pounding. I'm like, what the fuck? I see they're dragging this lady out. And Louis right there. And as soon as they drag her by Louis and she's past him, he goes, we're good. We're good, man. Let's go. Like as soon as she was out the door, he was like, let's do it. We gotta go.
So you take
I gotta go
chairs
back
off the stage.
They take everything. They replace.
Were you in the middle of a bit?
Dude, the middle of it.
Did you start it from the beginning again?
I started making fun of the situation. Like your comic instincts
Right,
take
right.
over. I don't even know what I said. It was like being in a fight. Like I didn't know what
Right.
happened.
Right.
I was fucked, dude. I went on, I finished, I killed, I did the rest, but I got a headache. Dude, it was nuts. I go back in the dressing room. I clear it out. I'm like, what the fuck? I was fucked in my head. And Louis comes in. He's like, dude, we were good. We're good. I'm like, no, we're not, dude. I don't know what the hell. I don't know. I'm like holding my head, and he's all of a sudden he gives me this. He gives me this Martin Luther King speech pep talk. Like he's like, Martin Luther King once said, didn't work. Then he goes to JFK. Fucking didn't work. Then he holds up a video of Tom Brady giving a speech. And it's like, when I was there, they didn't want me. I wasn't fast enough. I wasn't this. And that worked. Tom Brady fucking, dude, fucking worked. I was like, fucking, let's do this.
Oh, that's amazing.
And we went on to the next show and killed it and got it. Thank God.
Beautiful.
And she lived. Like, dude,
That's nice.
I came up to him. I go, is she okay? He goes, I don't fucking know. I don't give a shit. We have another show today. She said, all right. I was like,
I don't give a shit. We got another show.
we're got another show. I gotta get this because he
Louis the
paid.
best.
He paid for everything. You know what I mean?
right.
So it's all on his dime. So
Oh, my God.
he's like, we got this fucking show, dude. I gotta get you right, motherfucker.
Yeah.
So we went out, did it, we got it, and I love Tampa.
They're wild people.
Dude, Florida saved me during the pandemic. That's why I was gonna do it in Boston, but I'm like, when that happened, I lost 55 shows in one night. I had a theater tour going with Creeps with Kids. Ron Bennington, Voss, Florentine, and me were doing this great theater thing that was sold out. And it all went away in one night. Like, I got a call from my agent, Matt Frost. He's like, dude, it's all gone. I'm like, what? He goes, all your shows. And it's like, dude, I'm not I'm a club guy too, So I finally had a theater tour that was successful. I was kind of crawling my way, and I finally had that, like, all right, let's do this. This is
Right.
great. And it was gone. So Florida saved my ass because Side Splitters, Versanis, McCurdy's, all these clubs down there, I could go down and fill the place up and do shows. So I was like, I got to go down there and do this. And Mike Calta, promoted the fuck out of it. So
Well, it's one of the only places where you could do shows.
it was one of the only places you could do shows, but you could do shows without the masks.
Yes.
Because to be honest, dude, I'd rather not perform than I can't. I need your mouth.
Yeah.
I need your mouth.
Yeah.
Because other than that, the eyebrow movement is the same as a great joke, or you're offended. You know what I mean? Like,
And you hear
yeah, I don't know if you hate me or love me. It's the same Muppet shit.
laughter through a mask is just
It was
very
it was,
strange.
it was the worst.
I only did one show with people with masks on in the crowd. Well, I did a few outside with Chappelle where they were supposed to have masks on, but
Yeah.
people didn't really have masks on.
Yeah.
Most people were like, fuck it, because it was in Texas.
Yeah,
But
I
that was
love-
like peak pandemic.
right.
But I did a show in Houston. We did the Improv in Houston when you were still allowed to do shows indoors.
Right.
And people had masks on. It
Yeah.
was very strange.
Oh, the special, dude, it was so fun. Nobody gave a fuck. We jammed them in there like sardines. Nobody gave a shit.
When
dude.
was this? When did you film it?
We filmed it, I think, in March. March. We went down there one night, rocked it out, and then Louis put it on his website, man, which is nuts
It's great.
because he's creating his own. It's like, okay, I love that we don't have to ask. I don't have to get a yes anymore. It's like, all right, you don't like me, whatever the fuck reason, Netflix, whoever, it's fine. I'm cool. I don't hate. You know what I mean? It's not like fuck them. I don't have time for that shit.
Right.
And I couldn't afford to do it the way I wanted to do it. I know I could do it another way, but I wanted it to be special. I believe that, I wanted it to be special, and this was in my head. That Elvis comeback special was always like, that's the baddest Elvis ever. And granted, I was Elvis at the end of his career, not really at that time when he was peak, and Louis, this is why I love him, man. He was like, I got it. Okay. I was like, great. And he did it. And he directed it. Because at one point he's like, we're going to maybe do this. I go, dude, I don't care if you're fucking using an iPhone. As long as your eye is
Yeah.
looking through that camera, that's what I want. Because I know what you know. You're one of the best. I had one of the best stand-up comics walking today,
Ever.
but alive
Yes.
right now,
Yes. Directing your special.
paying for it.
Paying for it.
Directing it. Producing it.
Yeah. Amazing.
It's I can't tell you how amazing that was, and the pressure's on too, because if you suck, you kind of wasted his money and his time. But he put it on his website, which is nuts. I mean, that's crazy because that people covet. When you get it, it's hard not to covet it because you're so afraid of losing it. Mm-hmm. But he's just like he's creating his own Netflix on his website. The movie's there, his TV show's there,
Yep.
his specials are all there.
Yep.
You can go there and pick what you want. My special's there. It's crazy that it's on there. And
It's brilliant. What he's doing is brilliant. And it's a perfect answer to the problems that he faced after getting canceled. I brought him to my club. I bought a club in Austin. I brought him there right when we were about to pour cement. And he was like, make the stage shorter, drop the ceiling down even lower, like do this, do that. I'm like, whatever he says. Just do whatever he says.
Right.
I just said, what else do you think? He's like, so all the ideas that he had, we implemented all of them. They were perfect ideas.
Right.
Like the stage was a little too big in the small room. We have a small room that's like 120 people. He's like, why is the stage so big? It should be smaller. I'm like, you're right. It should be smaller. How much smaller? He's like, cut it down here. I'm like, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's cut it. He has an eye for things.
He's like he shouldn't be doing comedy. He should be like curing fucking cancer. You know what I mean? Like his brain, if he puts it in a direction, he just does it. It's like crazy. Like he's a really intelligent. When you mix intelligence with humor, it's so powerful.
Yeah.
You know, you have the same thing, dude. I mean, I remember when I was coming, I don't know if you know this, but when I was coming up in Boston, I got a lot of shit for my comedy because that's when Evening at the Improv and comedy, half hour, all that stuff. And I remember people telling me, you have to clean it up. You need 7 minutes of clean material. You need 7 minutes of clean. Dude, you're too dirty. You talk about stuff. And I'm like, dude, I just got out of rehab. I was in jail at 13. My life is about bullshit and banging. And I don't understand. I can't fucking read a newspaper. I barely can read. What do you want to read? You want to write topical shit? I don't have that. And I remember I saw you on MTV's Comedy Half Hour, and you were talking about getting how much pressure you apply to you don't want to hurt how much to push a girl's. I mean, is there a thing? You know what I mean?
It was when a girl's like, she's like kissing your lips and kissing your neck, kissing your, but she's spending way too much time in this particular area. You're trying to encourage the downward trajectory of her affection. So you're like arching your back and you're putting your hand on your head, but you don't know how hard you can push her head before she gets mad.
It was fucking genius to me because every guy has been through that because you don't want to be a fucking asshole.
Right.
But it's like, dude, this is doing nothing.
Right.
My nipples, I don't like it. What are you doing? And I was like, that's it. I go, that's what I want to do. That's the fucking comedy. That exists.
Well, we were stuck in a time where there was a transitionary period between like doing sets for the Tonight Show, which made careers.
Right.
Like back then, Stephen Wright got on the Tonight Show, Richard Jeni, these guys got on the Tonight Show and it made their careers. Everybody knew them from the Tonight Show. Yeah. But there was guys like you and me that were stuck in this, we were wild kids.
Right.
And we were like early 20s and we were like, that's not what I think about.
Right.
And I remember there was a guy that I worked with at Nick's Comedy Stop and he was telling me this, you got to clean it up. You got to stop saying fuck. You got to do this. I go, but my favorite comics are like Dice Clay. And he goes, so you're not Dice Clay. I go, well, Dice Clay wasn't Dice Clay until he became Dice Clay. Like, what? That's what I want to do. I don't want to do what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, get it in your fucking head. That's not what I want to do. And he's like, well, you're going to work shit rooms. And I'm like, okay, well, that's what I have to do then, because this is the comedy I want to do. I wanted to do comedy like Kinnison and Hicks, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to do wild shit. That was the shit I liked.
Yeah.
It was like being in a rock and roll band and someone tells you have to play classical music. Like, no, I want AC/DC.
Right.
That's what I like. I like Highway to Hell.
Well, it is more profitable if you, like, it's more profitable.
Back then it was.
And even now. I mean,
not anymore.
Well, I mean, I think there is certain things you could do. I mean, the Tonight Show and all that stuff, I get it. But, if you could make a little more money if you could, Instagram will, fucking flag your shit. And if you're telling clean stuff, it can go to everywhere. Even on Sirius Radio, if you do a clean album, you'll make way more money.
Yeah, but YouTube, if you have a set like Schultz or someone like that, his set got banned from a streaming website.
Oof,
one of the streamers.
That was good.
I almost
that was
said
a nice catch.
And they said, look, you got to edit this. And he's like, I'm not editing it. So I'm going to release it on my own website. Then I'll just put it on YouTube. And YouTube, it's got like fucking 7 million views now in like a month.
Schultz is the best.
He's genius. Did you see the shit he put about Kanye today?
I didn't see it yet.
Pull up his Instagram.
He's the best.
This Kanye's losing his mind.
He's helped me a lot with this too. I did his podcast, but he came up, he goes, I want your clip person. I want to put me on a text thread with them. I want to tell them exactly what. He's another guy who doesn't covet. He's just like, dude, I'm going to tell you what to do. Do what I say, and shit's going to happen. And he is 100% right. He figured it out, and he shares that information if you want it. And he's helped me out so much.
He's a great guy.
He's
great.
He's a great guy, man. He's a funny motherfucker.
And he's on the path. He's fucking focused.
He's on
the path.
Yeah.
Did you
I
find
had to type his entire name in to get his name to pop
Oh,
up.
he's shadow banned. Hold up, but put it up for the beginning.
He's like a classic Hollywood star from back in the day, too. His looks.
You gopher-faced Deutschbag. This week, Kanye went on a media blitzkrieg. He threw so many stones at the Jews, he's now an honorary general in the West Bank, which is soon to be the only bank that will accept him. JP Morgan actually canceled his account, so the only transaction Kanye is going to have is when Caitlyn drops off the kids. So what exactly did Ye say? Well, Hungry Hitler went on Drink Champs with the most bloated cheeks I've ever seen on a human. The guy looks like a Ninja Turtle just had a root canal and proceeded to spout off more hate than a West Virginia water fountain. He claimed George Floyd was killed by fentanyl. Wrong. Kanye, we have video evidence of a throat getting crushed, and don't worry, Kim's not in it. He blamed the Jews for trying to silence him. Yay, the only Jew that's ever kept your mouth shut was the dentist that wired your jaw. I hear some people saying Kanye did bring up some very strong points. Yes. These points. That's it. Kanye isn't the free thinker he claims to be. He just regurgitates the talking points of the latest pseudo-intellectual leech around him. The only original thoughts Kanye's ever had are Amber, Kim, and Julia. So, is Kanye insane? Selfishly, I hope he is. I'd rather believe this is the behavior of a guy battling bipolar disorder than accept I've been supporting a black skinhead for decades. So my message to you, Chipmunk Cheeks, is simple. Get better. Better friends, better therapists, better perspective on the world, and better meds. And good luck, because you're going to need it.
He's so good, man.
That thing that he did, the America series that he did on Netflix, like that, those like fast paced, he developed like a new kind of stand up that you could do with no audience on Instagram because he doesn't have to wait for the laughs. So he just hammers you bang, 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 bang. Because when people were doing like Zoom stand up, it was terrible. Because there's no laughter, because there's no audience.
I never did
So
it.
what he figured out how to do is get rapid fire punchlines so that when you're watching it on your phone, it's fucking genius.
Yeah.
So he starts it on his phone. Remember, turn your phone sideways. He does that.
That's great.
Amazing.
It annoyed me. I texted him. I go, dude, I fucking want to hit you with a shovel. Because I literally was like, ugh, I got to turn it. I got to watch it.
And then he takes that and does it to Netflix. And it was fucking genius. It was a great move during the pandemic.
Yeah, it's guys like him who figured it out. And I love that. That's why, like, this thing with Louis, it's like I can do this and get it out there.
Yeah.
And people can go buy it, and we don't have to ask.
Yeah, you don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
That's the future because these fucking people that were the gatekeepers, they don't know what they're doing. They just don't. They are executives. They're not artists. They're not comedians. They're not funny.
Right.
So if they are funny, they've never done stand-up. If they've done stand-up, they'd be doing stand-up.
Right.
That's not what they do. So them telling you to do that is like me telling someone how to play football. I don't play football. I don't know what the fuck to tell you. I can say what you should do, but I'm probably going to be wrong. These guys, they just get in the way. And so to have someone who does it, like Louis or like Schultz or like someone like that, that's what we need. That's the future.
Well, it's funny, too, because like Louis said to me, I was like, dude, I got this whole thing on weight. He's like, I don't want that. I want you to just kill. I want you to do a club set. Like you're at a club and kill for an hour. That's all I want out of you. I go, I got that hour. I got it. It's like,
Beautiful.
So this is it's not like that theater where you do and the thing swoops in and you deliver the thing. And
No,
you
it looks
look,
great. It looks perfect.
Yeah,
That's
it's
I
great.
loved it.
Yeah.
I love that this is a thing now, that people are just figuring that out. You know, and Louis really is at the front of the line of that shit. Louis and Schultz.
And Schultz, absolutely. Yeah.
This is the future. The future is not these fucking gatekeepers and executives. Because all those people are, like, if you say some wild shit on a special and then someone tries to bring it to a streaming service and then the people start getting upset and protesting, that's on them.
Right.
Who greenlit this? Who said Bobby Kelly can say these things? And I get it from their perspective. They've got mortgages and kids in private school. I know what the fuck is going on.
Right.
But that doesn't help us.
Right.
Like what
It doesn't help the people.
No.
Because you're not seeing stuff that you might think would be offensive, but you laugh at it, and that's our job.
Well, also, how many people are complaining versus how many people are enjoying it? It's a lack of perspective because they're only paying attention to the people that are writing emails and making these fucking campaigns.
Right.
And those people are losers.
Right.
For the most part. The
Right.
people that get upset at a comedian telling jokes to the
Right.
point where they want to contact sponsors and contact banks, they don't have anything going on with their life. And their thing is to try to get some sort of a result
Right.
out of their efforts. And their efforts are negative to cancel you.
100%.
If you don't like it, you don't have to listen. If you don't like a Quentin Tarantino movie where Brad Pitt smashes a woman's face on a mantelpiece, don't watch it.
Greatest.
But that's the movie. That's the fit. That's the art. You don't have to. There's a lot of films that I don't like.
Right.
There's a lot of rap lyrics that I don't agree with.
Right.
But that's fine. You don't have to listen. You don't have to watch it. But this today's kids, these activist-minded kids, think that they have some sort of a civic duty to try to like remove you from the entertainment ecosphere.
Right.
And this is what they have to deal with if they're at Netflix or if they're at any of these places.
Well, they made comedy punk rock again.
Yes.
They made
It's
us punk,
wild.
and it's like you did the wrong thing.
Yeah.
You did the wrong thing because now we're just going to go do it ourselves. I remember we were trying to come up with a name for the special, and I said, he's like, "What do you got?" I was like, "Can we call it Remember AIDS?" Because that's one of my jokes. And he goes, "Yeah, if you want to call it that." I go, "You sure?" He goes, "Dude, yeah, fucking call it whatever you want."
That's beautiful.
You can call it fucking Dead Crack Babies.
I love his last special's name, Sorry.
It was the greatest with it behind him.
With a giant sorry behind him.
It was unbelievable.
Oh, it's amazing.
And I was like, dude, where is the sorry? I want that. He threw it out. I was like, I would have put that.
Threw it out?
Dude.
The giant sorry?
I was like, I would have put that on my land in New Hampshire. I would have put it in the woods, just in the back, like hikers
Get all
walking.
rusty, covered with leaves.
Could you
and
imagine
shit.
being a hiker just walking through the woods?
Sorry from
Just
the
say-
Louis C.K. special?
That'd be fucking
Holy
epic.
shit.
Yeah, he's great. It's the whole thing is this whole thing that they pushed us into this corner,
Yeah.
and now we're just helping each other.
Yeah.
Which is amazing to me. It's like, all right, we don't need you anymore.
Well, it happened at the perfect time because all these things sort of combined together. And one of the things that happened was the internet.
Right.
And through the internet, we no longer are competing against each other. So we're all now assets to each other.
Right.
Because, like, we do each other's podcasts. We support each other's stand-up. Like, if someone's got some cool shit, I put it up on my Instagram. All that stuff just helps everybody.
Right.
And instead of, like, like when I was coming up in the 90s, when you would get on a sitcom, like, I remember there was, like, all this resentment from other people that I knew that, like, had agents that sent them out for the same roles.
Right.
So we would, if, like, we're all, like, kind of the same age, and there's like a guy who's like a fucking character on a sitcom. You're going up for it. He's going up for it. And if he gets it, you're like, fuck, that could have been me.
Right.
And you see him on the CBS promo smiling. You're like, that could have been me. I remember when Kevin James got his sitcom. And when they were like playing these ads for the sitcom. And I remember some comedians like, that's not even fucking, fuck that show. And that's not. I go, you're saying that because you wish it was you. Like, what are you talking about? You don't think it's funny? It's funny. Watch it. It's a funny show. You're only upset because you feel like because someone else is successful, somehow or another, it took something away from you.
Right.
But it doesn't change the fact that it's successful. You're only damaging your own mind by thinking that way.
Well, success, they kind of mind fuck you with the success thing because you have the potential to have dreams come true. Things you felt as a little kid or places you wanted to go or things you wanted to get or the life you wanted is there's potential that could happen in this business, right?
Yeah.
If I was a painter, I mean, you're going to paint. But in this business, you could become that thing that you dreamed about as a kid. And there's a time when you have to realize, at least for me, where I looked around one day and I'm trying to become this thing. And I'm like, I'm successful right now. I have a house. I got a wife. I got a son. I have 2 cars. One's a truck and one's a Honda CRV. But I have it. Like I have all this stuff.
From talking shit.
From talking shit. I did it.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah.
Whatever else I have
It's gravy.
is gravy. I have friends, real friends. And I'm like, I did it, dude.
That's making it.
That's making it.
Yes.
And I can go on any stage and fucking make people laugh.
And you know what the opposite of that is? There's people that are very successful. They're very famous. They have shows. They have this. They have that. And no one likes them.
Yeah.
They're the opposite. That's not making it.
It's not
you
making
think
it.
you're making it because on paper you're successful. So you're always trying to compare your success to other people's success.
Yeah.
And you're always trying to stay ahead of them because it's the only thing you have.
That's it.
Because you don't have the friends and you don't have the family and you don't have love from your peers and like just fun times, hanging out, talking shit.
You don't have gratitude.
Right.
You
don't have
don't.
gratitude.
Every day I wake up in the morning and I don't touch my phone. First thing I was touching my phone. I don't touch it. I sit on my bed and I think about what I'm grateful for. It's usually my kid, my wife, my friends, my family. And all of a sudden I smile. Every day I start to smile.
That's awesome.
And then I go about my day. Because if I wake up and I just go and I grab the wheel and I just start, I fucking smash into shit.
Right. You're on momentum then.
If I wake up
Yeah.
and just take that 5 or 10 minutes to just think about all the great shit that I'm grateful for, and it's not any fame, it's not any, it never goes there.
Right.
It's always starts with my son, and then it goes to my wife, and things around like us, things we're gonna do, and I'm like, oh, and I just start to smile, and then I'm good. I'm good. If I don't do that, I'm yelling at somebody or I'm fucking angry and the anxiety sets in, the fear sets in, because anxiety and fear turn into anger for me. And then all of a sudden I'm like, this fucking guy and this, and then I'm like, but I'm at the point now where I can be like, chill, go sit down, think about what you got. It's great. It's fantastic, you know?
Yeah.
And now it's why, that's why I bought the tiny house. Like in the middle of the pandemic, I'm not rich, dude. I don't have a lot of money. You know, I mean, after this appearance, my special will sell millions of things and I'll be rich and we'll get cars together and I'll move to fucking Austin and I'll fucking play your club.
Get yourself a Chevelle.
I'd love a Chevelle. It's my fucking favorite car. It's such a badass car. But, you know, in the middle of it, I'm sitting there. I told my wife, I'm like, okay, everything was taken away. All the fame, all the shows, money. I'm figuring out how to make money. I got us. Don't worry about it. But we got each other. I go, I'm waiting to buy land in the country and I'm waiting to get the lake house I'm waiting to become famous, to become a millionaire, to be happy. No. Let's just do it now. Let's
just be happy.
Let's
Yeah.
go be happy right now.
Yeah.
I went and bought a tiny house from like the tiny homes of Maine, this awesome couple in the fucking woods of Maine. They build these amazing houses.
Is it like a prefab where they like put together? Do you get to design it?
You design
online,
it.
Or?
You can go. We drove up there. I met them. They live on a 60.
Do they have a website?
They have Tiny Homes of Maine.
Go to Tiny Homes.
They have 68 acres. They live on a old Christmas tree farm.
Oh wow!
Dude, me and my wife and my son and my dog drove up there. It was like 8 hours. We had to stop in Bangor for the night, and we went up there. They let us into the home.
They're past Bangor.
Yeah, it's near Canada.
Oh Jesus!
And we hung out with this couple. They're the coolest couple ever.
There
And
it is.
Yeah.
Tiny Homes of Maine. Click on
That's
that
my
one.
that's my house right there.
Which one?
The one to the right. That's the one. That's what I have. Right
Oh
there.
wow!
So that
that's fucking cool.
Where the bed is our living room. That's Max is my son's loft. That's where the kitchen table is, where the couch is, and and then you could take those stairs up to my sleeping loft.
And so the kitchen table folds out.
No, well, it can, but we leave it out, and then yeah, like
That's fucking great.
we have a full kitchen, full bathroom, shower.
So it's like a giant camper.
It's yeah, it's funny.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, but
It is.
you customize the whole thing, and
That's fucking cool.
and we went up there. We met with these people. We hung out with them, and we bought the house off them. And it's not that expensive.
That's great. And they take it out on wheels.
Well, we didn't. We
Oh, you had it built out there?
no. They drove it down. They drove it down from Maine. Yeah.
Oh, so they drive it down in a giant truck and then they piece it together?
We had to buy the land first. We went from their house to New Hampshire and I bought 2.5 acres in the White Mountains of New Hampshire.
Wow.
But behind my land is 500 acres of forest.
Oh, wow.
So we had my contract. The guy bought the land off of Barry, such a great guy. and he did all the land. So we had a septic put in. We had dug a well. That thing's hooked up. So we just so now.
Do you have solar power or anything up there?
Not yet. We have power. I have Wi-Fi. I don't have cable. There's no cable. We have Wi-Fi because I do my podcasting up there. So in the summer,
Really?
June and July, we go up to New Hampshire, and my kid goes to camp in New Hampshire, and I go out of there. So if I do get a gig, it's got to be a big gig. I'll leave there. So this whole summer, 2 months, I was up in New Hampshire in the tiny house. It was the best summer of our lives. My kid was going to camp. But there's a difference. You go to camp in Westchester, you're at a college pool, playing in dirt and kickball in a schoolyard. You go up there, dude. He did a sleepover on an island. He's canoeing. He's hiking 4,000-foot mountains. I gave him a pellet gun. He's shooting a pellet gun. I gave him a bow and arrow. We're going to get our hunting license next year. Me and him.
Really?
Yeah, dude. It's like I love. He walked out in the woods one day. He woke up. He had all camo. And he was out in the woods with his bow and arrow just walking around. And I was like, fucking thank you. Thank you. You know?
That's great.
And you don't need anything, dude. You don't need anything. One thing I learned when I went to LA, remember pilot season?
Oh, yeah.
Ugh.
So anxiety filled.
Yeah, there was
Everyone's freaking out.
it was 3 months you'd have to go to LA for pilot season because that's where they did all the casting.
Yeah, I remember that. I first went in 93.
It's terrifying. It
It was
just
so weird.
I remember I went out there. I rented a apartment in West Hollywood, and there was one fork, one spoon, one knife, one plate, one bowl, one cup.
Was it one of those apartments like, what are they called? Oakwoods? Remember those? You know, they had those prefab places.
Yeah.
That's where I stayed when I first moved there.
Norton stayed there too, and he had cockroaches.
Oh, yeah, you have everything.
Yeah. No,
Coyotes.
This was a dude's apartment.
Oh.
Above a garage.
Oh, so you just
It's
rented.
like an Airbnb.
Oh, okay.
And I realized that's all you need is one. I need one fork.
Yeah.
I need one spoon. I don't need
Yeah, just wash it.
75.
Yeah.
So when we got this, I was like, baby, we don't need it. We don't
Yeah.
need all the space. We
It's
don't
true.
need all this shit. We're together. I mean, you have to love your family. If you get a tiny home, you can't love your son and like your wife.
Right.
Because you'll murder her. You know what I mean? Like if you kind of like your wife, get a house.
Get a place you can hide.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
but you can't. It was so you never even think about it.
I remember when I first moved to LA, it was in 94. And I got an apartment in North Hollywood, and it was a nice apartment with a loft. And I had a pool table in my apartment. And I would come home to my apartment, I'm like, this is crazy. I can't believe I live here. This is amazing. And then after a while, I got used to it. And then I remember sitting down on the floor of my apartment one day going, oh, okay. It's just home. Like, you get used to everything.
Yeah.
And even if you're like now I live in a really nice house, but it's just a house.
Yeah.
You get used to it, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's just home. Like most things like that, like big, giant, crazy things, they're very overrated.
Right.
They're not worth the effort that it takes to acquire them, and you don't get the level of satisfaction out of having them that you think you would. There's some things you're going to enjoy in life. Like there's some things that I still enjoy. I still enjoy cars. Like I still enjoy hot rods, and I still enjoy. I get a wild thrill out of driving them. It just feels. It's like taking a drug. It's like it's fun. But most of those things that people try to acquire, they just look good to other people because they're unattainable.
Yeah.
Because like you see that big house on the hill, like wow, who lives there?
Yeah.
The guy who lives there, that's just his fucking house.
That's it.
Once he gets in there and he's watching TV, it's just a fucking house.
Yeah.
You know, he's eating dinner. It's just a house.
Yeah.
If you don't have good quality of life inside of that, like a wife that you love, children that are happy, if you don't have that, then you have nothing. You have nonsense.
I would wake up every day while we were up in the tiny house, and I'd walk with the dog. I'd just walk up the country roads every day. I would walk up the streets with the dog and take a 3-mile walk and come back, and then I'd meditate for like 20 minutes out in front in the woods, and then my kid would come out and sit with me. It's like, that's the shit you do.
Yeah.
Like 5 o'clock, I remember 5 o'clock would come around and we'd just jump in the truck and go fishing down the street
Oh, that's awesome.
until the sun went down, and then we'd come back and we'd grill, and then when I'd start a fire, we sit by the fire and have the shit scared out of us every 5 seconds because you think.
Here, things.
Well, the thing is when you're in, like at my house, in Westchester, if you hear something in the woods, it's probably, a Jewish guy. There's a Jewish temple behind my house. You know what I mean? It's a neighbor or something. It's maybe a squirrel. When you're up there, if you hear something, it's something. Like it's not nothing. Like you have to, you kind of got to be ready because it could be something.
It could be a bear.
It could be a deer. It could be a bear. It could be fucking anything. So it is like no matter how much I want to man up and be like, it's good. We're good. I have that flashlight and you're like this every 5 seconds looking for eyes. But there's something about that. There's something about that fear of.
It's exciting.
Dude, there's something about the woods, man, that scares I am petrified in the woods. I'm petrified. Like when me and Ari went out to the woods and we went camping, I did it with Paul Verzi one. That was the funniest thing ever, though. I took Paul Verzi up in the woods.
How did he handle it?
Dude, Verzi's the best, dude. Dude, he shows up with fucking camo Nikes. He's like, these are good, right? I'm like, dude, just because they're camo. He's like, no, these are hiking.
Lose them.
These are hiking Nikes. I'm like, no. And then I go, dude, okay. So I prepared his backpack and my backpack for a night up in the woods. I go, okay, I'm explaining everything. I go, okay, here's your poop bag. He goes, what? I go, your poop bag. You got a trowel. He goes, what do you mean? I go, when you have to poop, you can't just shit in the woods, dude. It's you can't. You gotta dig a hole, shit in the hole. I explained the whole thing. He's like, all right, dude. Okay. So then we're driving up there and he's just off in the distance. And he's like, I'm like, what's up? He's like, listen, here's the deal. I got it. I got it figured out. Because I can't shit in the woods. We're going to go to Dunkin' Donuts right now. We're going to get 2 sausage egg sandwiches each. We're going to get a large coffee each, iced coffee. We're going to truck it down, suck it all down. That's going to push all the shit out of us. We're going to shit at Dunkin' Donuts, and then we'll be good for the night. We'll come home tomorrow, we'll be good. I was like, all right, dude. So I go to Dunkin' Donuts, we get the sandwiches, we eat it, drink it, and we both shit.
Dunkin' Donuts.
Dude, it worked. It fucking worked.
He has a plan.
We shit at Dunkin' Donuts. We didn't have to shit all night. Then halfway up the mountain, right, I go, you got your blanket? Where's your blanket? Because I didn't see it on his bed. He goes, I left it at the truck. And I was like, fuck. He's like, am I fucked? I go, dude, it's like an hour back. I go, you're fine. But I knew people don't understand camping is not comfortable. It's not. You're not going to, all the gear you can get, you're not going to be comfortable unless you're car camping at a KOA or something. Right. You get cots and whatever. I was like, you'll be fine. And I knew it was going to drop to like 60 something, So we got all the way up there where, I got my Japanese saw and he's cutting the wood and we're getting all the stuff and we found a little site and we cooking sausages on sticks and he made a vampire spear for some reason. I don't know. He's like, dude, just in case.
A vampire spear?
It's a spear.
Like a stake through the heart type deal? Like he sharpened it and everything?
Dude, he made a vampire.
He was serious? That was the only weapon he brought?
That's it. He's like, dude, in case somebody comes, I'll fucking, like a vampire, I'll stick him through the heart.
Boy. Was he serious or was he fucking around?
100% serious. Dude, I'm going to vampires, dude. You know what I mean? 100%. Dude, you stick him right through the heart, Good. But you didn't understand when the sun and everything's up, it's great. It's awesome. It's the woods. It's beautiful. But when the sun goes away and it's dark, something happens. Like it gets, and I'm still frightened. You get scared, dude.
Yeah, it's scary. You don't know what's going on. It's natural instincts.
Yeah, it's a weird feeling when that sun goes away and you have that little flashlight and you have the light of the fire and there's nobody around for a long time. And if you do hear somebody, it's weird. Yeah. It's a weird thing. And we got up there and we hung out and you'd hear coyotes in the distance and you'd hear, stuff in the bushes and stuff walking towards you. And it was great just to see him panic, And I had to kind of keep my shit together. Then we went to bed and he had no blanket and it dropped to like 65. Oof. Which is fucking awful.
Did he have clothes that he could like double up and triple up?
I woke up the next morning. He had my little solo tent, my little ultralight tent, and I was in my hammock. I had a really nice hammock, Armour hammock. These awesome hammocks. And I woke up and he comes out of the tent. He had all his clothes on. So he had shorts on his head. He had short stuff. He had socks on his hands. He had woke up in the middle of the night, just took all his stuff and put it on because it was so fucking cold. And we both snore, so I would wake him up, and then he would wake me up.
Oh, no.
All night, dude. It was epic. Going with him was one of my funnest times ever because he was so like, what the fuck? He woke up the next day and it's shit all over his. Dude, it was freezing out last night. He goes, he was going to jump on the hammock with me. He was like, dude, I was going. Yeah. I want to do a solo trip by myself, but my wife won't let me do it.
That's sketchy.
Why?
If you get injured,
Yeah, I guess.
break an ankle, you're fucked.
I'm
When you
fucked.
Crawl for miles.
Well, you got the new iPhone SOS.
Yeah.
Where you
The
can
new
call
one.
somebody. But I just think that I'm so afraid of it, Joe. I'm so afraid of going out in the woods by myself that I just want to do it. I just want to.
I have a lot of friends who do solo hunting trips. Yeah, they go with a large pack on their back, and they go out deep into the woods, and they'll spend a week out there hunting by themselves. And if they get an animal, they pack it out on their back. They're bow hunting too.
There's just something about that where it's like I wish I could go back 10 years and learn how to do that.
You can learn now. You're
Yeah.
alive now.
Yeah.
You don't have to go back. I hate when people say that. I wish I did it when I was younger. Yeah, but you didn't. So you're alive right now.
Yeah.
And when you're 80, you'll go, oh, I wish I did it when I was 50. You know?
No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna take a hunting course next year when we get up there, me and my son, because he wants to hunt.
Do they have courses up there?
Yeah, you can take a course. I think it's a 3-day course.
Oh, that's great.
You can jump in. So we're going to take that. It's just like, who's the guy that I saw you and Callan go out with?
Steve Ranella. Yeah.
I love his show.
Oh, he's great.
I love him. I love it. And I see him just go out there, by himself with a backpack and just sleep on the ground.
Yeah.
Like no tent, not just fucking curl up on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, like the fact that we did that not too long ago, when you think about it, 150 years ago, people were doing that like nothing.
It was normal.
It was normal.
It's normal for Steve Ranella. When we went mule deer hunting a couple years back in Nevada, and he fucking slept on the ground. He just lays out a sleeping bag on the ground because it was summer, because it was pretty warm out where we went. And, just fucking climbed to the sleeping bag, fucking goes to sleep on the ground. Just right there. No tent, no nothing.
It's fucking
No,
crazy.
okay.
I
Why
love
not?
it. It's like I'm a big fan of Westerns.
Yeah.
And they would just, pull over, light a fire, have some coffee,
Just lie down.
and just lie down.
Yeah.
The pillow was their saddle.
And the thing is, when that fire goes out and you look up at the stars, like, oh, it's so peaceful. It puts it all into perspective. I love going to the woods. When I go hunting every year, whenever I come back, I tell my wife, like, I need to do this more often. And it's not even just about killing an animal and eating it. It's really about the reset. Like going out there and being alone and being, away from civilization completely and seeing wild animals and hearing them and stalking them and going up the mountains. It's just everything about it requires all of your focus.
Yeah.
And it also it's like a good reset for my mind. It makes me miss my family.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me miss my friends. It makes me very appreciative of things, and it just puts it all into perspective. It just there's no cell phone service up there, so you're not checking your social media. You're not doing shit.
Yeah.
All you're doing is just up there being one with nature, being a part of nature.
Yeah. And to know, you have to know about the things you're in. You have to know about nature. You have to know about trees. You have to know about plants. You have to know about the animals.
And it's a long learning curve.
Yeah.
When I first went hunting with Ranella was 2012. So it was 10 years ago, that video with me and Callan.
Yeah.
And I didn't know jack shit. I mean, I'd been fishing a few times, but what had happened was I had seen a bunch of PETA videos, and I was like, okay, I'm either going to become a vegetarian or I'm going to become a hunter. Because I don't want to be a part of this factory farming thing. It's just horrific.
Yeah.
And so we went, and I shot that deer right there. That skull that's on the table, that's the reason why it's there. that was the first animal that I killed and ate. I ate it all in like 3 months. And I was like, I can't wait to go back. That's what I want to do now. I just want to eat wild animals.
Yeah.
And just go out there and get my own food. And just the reset alone. And Callan and I had the best time because he got 2 comics and a bunch of these like hard-nosed fucking, like hard camping hunters. And Callan's taking a shit, and we put like a silver flag in it. We put a flag in his shit, and I took a picture of him, and he's like sitting there squatting. We had a fucking blast. We were just crying, laughing.
Yeah.
Because Callan, if like he has a captive audience, he's one of the funniest motherfuckers alive.
He really is.
And he had this character that he did called the Ravine Comer. So he would he would go to a ravine and pretend like he's coming in the ravine. And like, I'm not doing it justice. We were fucking tears. We were butchering a deer while Callan's pretending to jack off into a ravine. He's pulling his pants down, so we're only seeing his butt.
Yeah.
And he's like pretending to jack off into this ravine. He created this character. Oh my God, it was so fun.
Even in that show, he was fucking killing it.
Oh my God, and so much of it we left out. We have to leave out the Ravine Comer. The Ravine Comer never...
That's not the name of the episode?
It should have been. It never made the cut. We had so much fun. But it was beautiful. I remember we were eating over a fire. We were there was I think one scene actually did make it in because when I went to shoot that deer, I had to crawl to a position and lay the rifle down on a rock to get a good spot, and I crawled right over a cactus. So I had cactus thorns all over my legs. So I had my pants down by the fire. I think there's a video of it online of Callan with needle nose pliers pulling cactus thorns out of my ass and legs while we're eating this meat over a fire.
That's a friend.
Oh, that's a friend. But when we were there eating that meat over the fire, it was so satisfying. And the meat was so good because it was so fresh and it was like, we just put salt on it, like maybe salt and a little pepper. And we're just frying, but we're grilling it over this fire. And I remember thinking, I want to do this for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Like, this is the most fun, the food was so delicious and it was so satisfying. And if you've never had wild game before, like, people have this idea like gamey tastes bad. Like, no. That's nonsense. That's just the only time wild meat is gamey is when people prepare it wrong, when they let it go bad, or it gets dirty, or the glands of the animal when they're in the rut, when they're mating.
Yeah.
They have a tarsal gland. That's a gland on their leg, and if you puncture that gland and that the scent gets on the meat, it tastes like shit.
Right.
But that's just a lack of proper preparation. You just have to be careful and treat it with respect. And
I think
the
you
meat
should.
is delicious.
I think you should. I feel like everybody should know how to hunt, because if stuff does go south, I remember in New York with the blackout. I don't know if you remember that back in wherever the fuck it was. I remember it turned so wild when that sun went down. There was no lights. Quick, a day.
Yeah.
I told my wife, I go, there's no electricity. All the delis were giving out their ice cream. It was all, and everybody was having a good time. I go, where are you? She goes, I'm down having margaritas in Soho. I'm going, get your ass on the highway and walk home right now.
Wow.
There was regular people directing traffic because people were almost getting killed because there was no streetlights. People trying to get out of the city. So, there was not enough cops. I go, walk up the West Side Highway, get home. The big high rises, there was no lights. You couldn't, people had to walk in these dark hallways, 40 flights. There's no elevators. So people were staying on the bottom floor with flashlights to help people up to their apartments.
Wow.
And I remember we took a walk, 1 block. We were on 43rd between 10th and 11th. We walked up to 9th and we turned around because it was chaos. You know who didn't give a fuck?
Who?
Homeless people.
Look at that. Is that what it was like?
Yeah, look at that.
Wow.
That's
no
one day,
lights.
a few hours without electricity in Manhattan, and it turned crazy.
What about the people that were stuck on the trains?
Yeah, dude, they had to walk out through the subway. They had
Walk
to,
out through those
right
tunnels
there.
with all those fucking rats.
Yeah, they had to walk out through the.
Bro.
And there's actually buildings in New York. I don't know if you know this. There's townhouses. They look like townhouses, but they're empty. they're actually subway escape routes. They're vents for the subway. It looks like a brownstone, but inside is a vent for the subway. And if people get stuck in the subway, they actually come out through that brownstone.
Look at all those people walking out through the subways.
Airport
How
stuff.
long did the blackout last for?
One night.
That's it?
We walked up to 9th Ave. There was barrels on fire. A homeless guy came up and we were with a friend of ours, grabbed the girl's ass, like stuck his hand in her twat. It was like,
Oh, Jesus
and
Christ.
we turned around and went back to the house and just sat in the house. I stayed up all night.
Wow.
I mean,
that's one night.
That's one night, and the city went chaos.
Look at all those people walking on the bridge. Holy fucking shit. Holy fucking shit. Look at all those people on that bridge.
Is that crazy? That's
That's
scary.
wild.
That frightens me.
That's wild. Well, that's a zombie movie, right? That's how it goes down. Look at that cool motherfucker with a saxophone, though. That dude probably got all the pussy. He got all that pandemic pussy.
Look at, I mean, we're back.
Wow.
I mean, that means shit right now. The
Yeah.
Empire State, it's shit.
Yeah.
The sun went down. New York City was just like being in New Hampshire.
We had a power outage out here was it a year and a half ago, Jamie? Yeah, February 21. And it was weird. Yeah. It was weird because it snowed. And so no one out here knows how to drive in the snow at all. And then the roads iced over because they don't have plows. So it was like freezing rain and then, worst conditions ever. Freezing rain first, then snow. So you have a layer of ice over the roads and then you have snow on top of that. And just people sliding off, crashing into each other. No one knew what the fuck to do.
They all have SUVs, four-wheel drive. They don't know how to use it.
Well, they have SUVs with street tires on them. They have like a Cayenne, a Porsche Cayenne with those fat it's like fucking sports car tires.
Yeah.
They're terrible. I have a 1995 Land Cruiser that I had built for the apocalypse. I had
I'm coming to your house.
Come
if
to my
shit goes
house.
down.
I have tons of meat, literally. Yeah, I've commercial freezers filled with meat. I have 3 commercial freezers here filled with meat. I'm not fucking around.
I fucking
I keep wild meat. I give a lot of it to my friends, and I cook a lot of it. But when the shit goes down, the real problem is not meat; it's bullets. Like how many bullets do you have?
Right.
Like if you have a box of bullets, what's that? 100 bullets?
Yeah.
You know how quick 100 bullets goes when you're hunting?
Yeah.
You're trying to find meat.
Yeah.
Like how good a shot are you?
Right.
Like, do you know about the wind? Do you know about like keeping away from you have to have scent. Like you have to have a scent, a wind catcher. Or a wind detector. So what it is like talcum powder, and you have a little bottle. Like when you hunt, you squeeze this bottle in the air, and a mist of smoke, like talcum powder, goes in the air, and then it drifts which way the wind goes. It's a wind detector.
Right.
So you have to be on the right side of the wind. If you are above the deer and the wind is blowing down towards them, they're going to run away from hundreds of yards away.
Yeah.
So you have to plan the wind correctly. So as you're walking in, you got to it's not easy. Like the idea that I got a gun, I'll be fine. You're not going to be fine. First of all, the animals are going to figure out real quick that they're being hunted. So they're going to disappear and they're going to go nocturnal, and you're not going to find them.
And plus, people don't know that, you think that if something goes down, you just go kill a deer. It's like, no, you got to kill a squirrel, kill a small animal, and eat that, unless you know how to gut that deer and get that meat prepared.
Yeah, and if it's hot out, the deer's good for 1 day.
1 day.
Yeah.
So you got to know how to smoke it or whatever you do to it to keep it. It's
You're gonna have to jerk it. You're gonna have to take it.
You have to
and
jerk
cut
it off. You have to jerk off the deer and
take it. You're gonna make it, slice it into thin pieces, and you're gonna have to dry it out.
Yeah.
And even then, it's not gonna last forever. You have to salt it.
We're
There's a lot of stuff
fucked.
you have to do. We're fucked.
We're fucked.
Yeah,
Not
it's-
all of us. You're not fucked.
I'm still kind of fucked. Because then then the real problem is not animals and food. The real problem is people that don't have animals or food. That's the real problem, is the other people that are around you.
Yeah.
Like if you're in a highly populated area and it runs out of food, it doesn't matter what you have. Like your main problem now is other people that are desperate.
Right.
And you can only give them so much. Like you can't give them everything you have. So even if you want to help out, the only way you got to have a community, and then everyone in the community has to chip in, and you have to know that you can count on each other so you become an asset to each other and not like a competitor.
Right. It's like the Walking Dead shit.
Yes, exactly. The zombies weren't the problem.
No.
The problem was other people.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's fucking real. Like
Yeah.
in Manhattan, if Manhattan gets hit with a nuke, You know, and then the power goes out, and then all the people in Westchester and all the people in Connecticut are the only ones that survive.
I saw that episode with what's her name?
Tulsi Gabbard.
Tulsi, I love her.
She scares the fuck out of me with that
that commercial.
Well, they're talking about Russia, like that sort of explanation of how quickly things can go badly, and how we're contributing to that by funneling money and funneling arms over to Ukraine. Right. As much as you think of what Russia has done is horrific, we're on the verge of nuclear war right now.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that are profiting off of that. Unfortunately, there's a whole industry of arms manufacturers who are accelerating that.
That would suck if my special becomes a hit and then the fucking bomb hits.
And, no Americans can even travel over to Russia. It's fucking dangerous.
Yeah.
Brittany Griner is over there, rotting in a fucking cell. They gave her 9 years for having a marijuana vape pen on her. Meanwhile, like in America, we have Russian fighters that fight in the UFC all the time.
Yeah.
They're 100% safe.
Yeah.
They come over here, they fight. Pyotr Yan from Russia is fighting for the title.
Yeah.
He's fighting this weekend.
Yeah. Can't wait for
we
it.
have plenty of Russians come over here. They get treated fine. But if you're an American, you go over to Russia, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Not good.
It sucks because we were kind of cool with them for a minute.
Yes, forever.
Right?
Yes. Dude, Roy Jones Jr. became a fucking Russian citizen. He did.
How?
He's friends with Putin. Because, they love him for his boxing.
Right.
He had some fights over there and, would go over there. And so they gave him Russian citizenship. He's got a Russian passport.
Yeah, we were cool with them for a while.
Yeah.
They were fucking wearing our jeans and shit.
Oh,
and
yeah. It's great.
Loving us. I remember, who was it?
fine.
Noam from the Comedy Cell, the owner. You know him? Mm-hmm. Love him. One of my good friends. He's a genius, too. He's a lawyer. He's a master musician. He owns one of the best clubs in the country. And he would go over there. His band would play. His band would go to Russia and do shows, which was fucking great. Yeah, he'd just go over there and do shows. My friend Andy or something has business over there, so they'd just all go over there, his whole band, do shows for a week, and then come back.
During the fucking invasion, Louis was scheduled to do shows in Ukraine.
Yeah.
And I texted him, I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm over here hiding in a bomb shelter. I'm like, no, I'm not going. He's like, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
He was a day from doing it,
He was
though.
going to do the show,
Yeah, he was
period,
gonna-
even though they were invading Ukraine.
He would have been fucked.
Wouldn't be good.
Now,
No.
did you ever do any of the USO tours?
No, I didn't.
Never?
No.
I thought you would have done those.
Yeah, I was scared of getting blown up.
I went over there. I went
Did
over
you?
there. I
How
went
was
with
it?
Quinn. I went with Dane and Quinn. I went Quinn the first time. When I went with Quinn, it was right when the war started. And it was scary, man. I mean, it was scary.
I can imagine.
We landed in, we were doing 2 shows a day. So you'd fly in on a Chinook. And
A helicopter.
yeah, we're doing helicopters. And I remember we flew in and we were at the palaces. The one, they didn't, he had 36 palaces or something. And they didn't bomb any of them. They sent one rocket through his bedroom window just to let him know what they could do, because they used all those palaces as camps, as bases, because they're already
Yeah.
fortified.
Yeah.
So they didn't have to make a base. They just used it. So I stayed in Uday's palace. Whoa. I took a shit on Saddam's gold toilet.
Did you really?
Yeah, I got a picture of me taking a shit on his
Where's
gold
that
toilet.
picture?
It's on I think it's on my MySpace. Remember MySpace? What happened to Tom?
Tom fucking cashed out.
Yeah, but
Tom made it.
But where is he?
I don't know, but he's a hero. Tom never fucked with us. He never edited anything.
Never.
He never.
He was your first friend?
never.
Just fucking,
Yeah, he was your friend.
Remember that he was
Yeah.
sitting there sideways?
He never canceled anybody's account for misinformation.
Love Tom.
Imagine like going back to that time and thinking what the internet would become. No one would have ever imagined.
Yeah.
No one would have ever imagined.
I mean, me and you were kind of, you were doing it, I was doing it, websites,
Yeah. Yeah.
videos.
But it was so new.
Yeah.
No one had even an inkling of what it would become. It was so strange, because all it was like, you had to find out about a cool website and you would go to that. You weren't even using search engines.
Yep.
You would find out about a website from your friend. Like, hey, you ever heard of the Style Project? Go there. And you go there and you see like people getting eaten by animals and shit, and bullet wounds and stuff, and wild, crazy shit.
Yeah, you had JoeRogan.net.
Yeah.
And you used to write blogs.
I had a buy.com.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a real estate guy. Where was he? I think he was in Idaho. I forget. I think he's in Iowa. No, Idaho. And that's water, and this is coffee. There's water in there right there.
Thanks.
But yeah, I had to buy JoeRogan.com.
I remember you had it. I invented social media.
How'd you do that?
Fucking great response. How'd you do that? Fucking perfect. Not questioning it at all. Remember guest books?
No.
Okay, there was a website you could just sign up called, it was a guest book. So your fans could come and leave comments and you could read them and reply to them.
Oh.
It's just a guest book, like almost like at a funeral or a wedding.
What year was this?
Oh, Jesus, man. This had to be 97, maybe 2000. No, it had to be before then. Like right when I got to New York. And it was like, you could leave a comment and they'd leave a comment. And so what happened was I had this thing and all these fans would come and leave comments. Hey, I saw you here, blah, blah. Oh, thanks for coming. And I turned this guest book was supposed to be for funerals and weddings. I used it for comedy. And then Norton, Keith Robinson, Billy Burr, Dane, they signed on as, other people and started
to fuck with you?
To fuck with me. Norton was Mr. AIDS. And he said, Robert Kelly's comedy is as funny as child rape with half the laughs. I mean, it was nuts. It was crazy. And then, I remember I knew who people were, but they didn't know who they were. And they started fighting each other. So I remember Burr would come on and say stuff about, Burr was, I think, Dave and or Chris. And Keith Robinson was KWR superstar or something like that. Dane was, I don't know, fucking To the Top or some shit, right? And they started fighting each other. And it was, dude, they were taking days to go out and write articles about each other. And they were smashing each other. It was fucking brutal. I'm talking thousands of people were going to this every day just to read these fucked up comments that comics were saying about each other as aliases. All of a sudden I get a thing in the mail. You have to stop. It's from the FBI.
What?
Child Services or something. It had a logo of these little kids, just sad. And it was kind of blurred out and had 3 little kids just sad. And you have to take all the swears, your language, you've been reported, and you're going to be fined $5,000 and jail time. And I panicked. I went through and I had to take all the fucks out and the swears. I took all the swears and stuff out. And then I got another letter. It's it's not enough, the things that are being said. And I shut it down.
Was this serious? It really was the FBI?
A year later, I'm on tour with Dane, and I'm like, dude, remember that site, man? That fucking thing with I'm so sad that's gone. Remember how fun that was? He goes, oh, that was me. It was him.
Pretending to be the FBI.
He goes, dude, I couldn't take it anymore. I was spending 2 nights in a row, all night, trying to write. I couldn't do it. I was like, what? I just created social media. It was the hottest thing in the world.
And he couldn't handle it, so he killed the whole thing?
He killed it.
It's like when a kid's losing at a video game and he unplugs the box.
Dude, he unplugged the box, Joe.
Oh, my God.
Dude, it was
and
nuts.
And he didn't even tell anybody.
Dude, he didn't tell me. And I was
That's
like...
nefarious.
Dude, it was nuts.
That's kind of nefarious.
Yeah, it's a
that he
great one.
pretended to be the FBI?
Dude, it was nuts. I mean, dude.
Child services?
Dude, it had a logo, a phone number. I remember calling the number, going, can I please talk to somebody? There was a number.
What happens when you call the number?
I don't know, left a voicemail. What's this bullshit?
Wow.
But that was the first, I got petrified that I was going to get sued.
What a crazy way to handle the situation. Instead of just getting out and not reading it,
Yeah.
he decides to kill the whole thing.
Was killed. I was like,
That's
why did you
so
tell me? It would have been it would have been hilarious. Is after I douched it, he was like, dude, that was me, you fucking idiot.
But a year later he tells you?
Yeah, weird.
That's
Weird.
so weird.
Yeah.
That's very bizarre behavior.
Yeah. I remember we used to have websites. I had crazy websites when they first. Remember websites were a thing. I had a website. I want to put it back up just for like a couple of months. I walked out on the top, like me as a person walked out, and I grabbed the mic and I went, poof, and it just went, poof, and all the balls sprinkled around, and then there was a ball in the middle that was my face, but when you touched it, it was liquid.
Really?
Dude, I had the best fucking websites.
Who designed it for you?
I have this guy, Kurt Iverson. He's just this genius dude he was from Kansas City. And he did my websites, but he was just a genius. He would go out and I would say, this is what I want, and then he would just create it.
Where do you think this goes? Like, we're looking back on the 90s on websites, like, wow, remember that? And now everyone is just deeply involved in social media, and very few people put any time into their website now.
Yeah.
Where do you think this goes? Do you think it goes to, like, augmented reality or virtual reality?
I think VR.
You think, like, the metaverse, that kind of
Have
shit?
you used the VR yet,
Yeah,
the Quest?
yeah, I have. When Zuckerberg was here, he showed me the new version of Meta, which is out now. It's the new version of Oculus.
Yeah.
It's incredible. One of the more interesting things was that you could tour places. Like you can go to the Louvre in Paris,
Yep.
and you're walking around.
Yeah.
And so, like, you could just, like, go to there, and then it's like there's people around you moving around because they filmed it while there was a crowd there.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel exactly like you're there,
Yeah.
but it's pretty fucking close.
You can go to a comedy show.
Yeah.
I went to a comedy show. I sat in the front row, and I turned around, and there was people next to me, and the comic looked at me and went like this.
Wow.
I was like, what's up? And I saw a comedy show on Quest, on Oculus.
Wow.
And I mean, it was crazy. So
That's
you could
gonna happen.
You could put a camera here,
Yeah.
and people could sit in on this podcast with us.
Well, they're doing virtual reality UFCs.
Yeah.
They're going to do that. Or you're going to be, like, inside the fucking octagon, which is crazy. Like, you're going to be, like, right there watching. You could probably sit wherever you want.
Yeah.
I bet you could probably sit in the crowd, or you could probably be watching from the octagon itself.
I love it. I love technology. I'm a big fan. I love gadgets. I love new shit, and I love that you can do that. Number one, it's too big. They got to make it smaller. They got to make it, because you put that on, you can only have it on for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
Number two, it's got to be cheaper. I mean, the new Oculus that my Facebook is doing is $1,700. It's like, dude,
It's a computer.
You got to make that $200 somehow and smaller, so that the average dude. But it's scary to me because during the pandemic, I was going to movies with friends. We'd all put an Oculus on, and we'd meet at the movie theater.
Really?
Dude,
What movies?
we watched Caddyshack one night. Like, my friend plugged it into his computer, and we went in, and we sat down in the movie theater, all of us, 8 of us, in the movie theater watching Caddyshack, and it was my little avatar that I made, and I was looking over. We're throwing popcorn at each other. We were getting drinks, throwing stuff. I remember it got really fucked up for me because other people can come in too, because it's open to the universe. And I remember a chick sat next to me. This chick with a mohawk sat next to me, and she was like, "Hi," and I was like, "Hey," and we waved, and I was like, I got like, oh, I felt like I was cheating.
That's probably a dude.
100%. It was 100%. It was some fucking dude from
Some weird
Minneapolis.
fan.
Yeah. But it was like I still had that emotion.
Right, like it's a
of
real person.
A hot chick sat next to me at the movie theater.
Now wait till it gets to the point where that person could touch you
Yeah.
and you feel it. Is this the movie screen? Wow.
Yeah. So you can pick what theater you want.
So you walk in, you sit down,
Yeah.
and you watch the movie just like you're in a movie theater.
Just like you're in a theater.
And are you talking to each other?
Yeah,
while
you
this
can
is
talk.
happening?
You can't verbally. I can't forget. I remember you could write stuff and it would come up or something in the chat or something like that. But yeah, dude, we were in the theater. Look at
This
that.
is incredible. Experience 3D movies together. Play your favorite PC games together. Wow. Can you do first-person shooters, Jamie?
You can, but they're not good yet.
Look at that.
They're
not good?
No, they're not good yet because we're used to playing Call of Duty and all that stuff.
They don't have that?
They have it, but it's a version of it, and it's not good yet.
There was a time where they were talking about doing these multi-directional treadmills. Have you ever seen those things where you wear like?
Am I having a stroke or did a star just shoot across the ceiling?
Stars.
Okay. I was like, shit, I'm going to stroke
Yeah,
on
everybody freaks out about that.
Yeah,
I should
I'm
probably
sorry.
tell people.
The last game they have for it.
Yeah.
What is this one? So you move with your feet by moving your hands like
they
that?
call it like locomotion or something.
Oh, that looks stupid.
But they do have foot things now. They do have a thing that you put on your shoes and you just walk.
Oh.
So they do have it. It's just not everybody has it. So they are getting close to where you'll put the gloves on. So now when you go to Oculus, remember you had to use those little thumb things? Now it scans your hands and you don't have to use those things. You can just use your hands.
Oh.
Your hand, it's nuts to me. Your hand comes up in front of your face and it's your hand. It turns.
Are you holding anything in your
Nothing.
hand? Wow.
Yeah.
Nothing.
He didn't describe this to us, but I read it in their article of they asked Zuckerberg what else do you have that's cool that's coming, and he said EKG might be what it's called. They have sensors for the wrist. It looks probably like this strap from like my Whoop strap, and it's reading the way your wrist moves. So the way they have it working right now is you put on like the sunglasses and you can do like a little like typing motion.
Yeah.
But they have it so that you can play video games with it
Yeah.
and move your hand like a joystick. But he said they have it developed to the point in testing right now where you don't even really have to move your fingers. You can just sort of like think about it and it'll start doing it for you. Like
Yeah.
you can play a whole game without even moving.
So you'll attach something to your feet and then something to your hands, and then you'll be able to like take your gun and explode it and then change parts, make it into a different gun and then bring it back and fucking start shooting people.
What I had seen was there was a thing where you were in a small circular treadmill, but you're attached at the waist.
Yeah.
So the treadmill moves in any direction, and you move it with your feet. Like as you know those treadmills
Yeah.
where they're self-propelled.
Yep.
Like it's not working on a machine. It's like your foot is making the wheel spin. Well, it's that, but it's circular. So you move in any direction, and you're carrying like a plastic gun, and then you have the virtual reality headset in, and you're running around like you're in a real first-person shooter, but you're stationary.
Yeah.
But it's like you're strapped. Is that is that like a concept or
It's not, but I don't believe that anyone's got it to the point where it's like good.
right?
Yeah, it's not
That
there
would
yet.
be perfect. Like that kind of setup. If you had that kind of setup where you have a small treadmill and there was like a railing around it,
So
yeah.
Here's a video of 5 different versions of it. Like there's one where you can sit down.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's the foot thing.
So you're just moving your feet around as you're sitting. So that's the one I'm talking about. Yeah. That's the one. So it's like this circular thing. So you can kind of go, and it's called the virtualizer. That's what it is. And so you go in Virtualizer Elite 2. And so you move around. And so as you're moving, you're actually getting a workout, which is pretty fucking cool too. Because like, Dance Dance Revolution?
Yeah.
Fucking kids lost shitloads of weight and got in great shape because they got addicted to that game. And so it's like rewarding because the game is fun, but you're actually getting a benefit out of it. So if you have this
This is a different one now.
virtualizer,
We're on
a
now.
different one. So this one is different, but it's the same kind of deal. Like you're actually using your legs to move around. And when you're doing this, you have a haptic feedback suit on. So if you get shot, you feel it. And look at that guy's running. He's actually running. So you're getting a good fucking workout.
Yeah,
in.
the problem is that most guys who game are like 400 pounds.
Right, but
So-
you can lose weight
Lose
like
weight,
this.
yeah.
The same thing with the Dance Dance Revolution thing.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people started out fat, but in Dance Dance Revolution, you have to move your feet really fast to get a good score. And so if you're doing this, and the faster you run, the faster you actually move in the game, that's fucking amazing.
Well, they have boxing on it, which is, dude, if you do that, it kills you.
Oh, it
And
does,
they have
yeah.
workout videos too.
Yeah.
They have workouts you can go on the Oculus. The only thing is that thing is just so heavy on you.
It's less heavy. The new one's less heavy.
Once they make it smaller where it's less
Yeah.
heavy, you'll be able to go to the gym and work out with a trainer in your living room
Virtually.
virtually.
Yeah,
I mean,
you just-
did you try the porn?
No.
Listen to me, man.
I'm listening.
I will never go back to it because it's too.
Too much.
I was at the Comedy Connection in Rhode Island, and they had the thing. And he goes, "Put this on," and it was a porn, And I'm sitting there. It's after the show. I'm at the bar. All the waitresses and bartenders and the other comics are over there. I'm sitting in a chair, and I put this on, and this girl comes up. She's like, "Hey, baby," but she's right there, looking in my eyes, and I'm looking around at her kitchen, like I'm in her.
Whoa.
And then all of a sudden, you look down, and you get these muscle legs. You look fantastic, and then she starts talking to you, and she started doing stuff to me, and I started moving.
You start humping.
I started
Air humping.
I was like, get these off me. I was literally just like, it's crazy.
And what's going to happen is the next level is going to be some sort of a neural interface where you're going to feel touch. Whether it's 10 years from now or 20 years from now, that's coming.
What you're going to do what you're going to do next, I think, with these things is you can customize it. You can customize it. So if there's a porn star you like,
Ooh.
like I'm friends with Bailey J. You know who Bailey J is?
No. Oh yeah, she's trans, right?
Trans, yeah. Her husband Matt is a good friend of mine. I love them both, but you'll be able to he was talking to me about it. He goes, the next stage in porn is virtual, where you could hire Bailey or any porn star you want, and you'll go and do the porn.
Wow.
But it's yours and it's virtual. So you keep it. So you can go back.
So you go actually have sex with her.
Yeah.
And film it.
Film it. Oh, you know what I mean?
Whoa.
And you'll have that porn forever where you can just put it on and have sex with whatever porn star you want virtually in your living room. You can relive that moment over and over again.
Wow.
Yeah, virtual porn is nuts because you can see the person that you're there. They're looking in your eyes.
Right.
Like if you watch regular porn, you're just a fly on the wall observing it, you know? But when a smoking hot chick is looking at you and going, baby, baby, what do you want me to do? You start talking back. You go, I want you to... And it's like,
You took it off immediately.
I took it off immediately, dude. I won't go back because
That's the Matrix.
It's the Matrix.
I mean, the Matrix, it's funny, when that movie came out, we're like, oh, this is fun because it'll never happen.
We're there.
We're pretty close. We're like at the door. We're reaching for the doorknob to the Matrix.
Yeah.
We're ready to open up the door and step into it. And
Yeah.
some people are probably further ahead than others. And then again, these neural interfaces like Neuralink, when things like that, when they start doing that and they can send signals directly to your brain, whoa.
I was thinking of this, and I decided to Google before I asked you, have you heard of AI porn yet? Because I imagine using all this AI technology we're seeing online right now, they have to have been working on this, and it turns out they are.
Of
This
course.
is what comes up on Google.
They look pretty good. The thing about it is, like, you could say this is like non-exploitation porn too, right? Because it's not an actual human that got raised by shitty parents. You know, this is like, you don't have to feel bad. Because the problem with porn is when some girl's like, when she's gagging and her fucking mascara's running, you're like, what happened to you? That's the problem. The problem is, like, you want to think she's just a free spirit and she's like very healthy and she just enjoys sex and she gets off on it, but the reality of that, like, sort of like public display of sexuality is oftentimes it stems from abuse.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I mean, this is crazy. I mean, they have
wild.
it. They have it. If you Google porn now, if you're doing a little porn, they always have this type of stuff. It fucking aggravates me because it's so loud. Like the commercial before, they have commercials before porn now. You have to sit through for 6 seconds, and it's always 10 decibels louder than the actual porn you're gonna watch.
Right, just like old commercials.
Yeah.
Remember when TV shows would come on and the commercial would come on and wake you up?
Yeah, so you'll be in your hotel room trying to get some best friend's mom porn, and all of a sudden, so you want that big boy? You want that car? And you're like, you gotta turn
Lower the volume.
Yeah, you gotta lower it down. But they have that virtual porn. That's gonna be. I mean, it's sad because we're not gonna leave our houses, man. We're not gonna go anywhere. You're not gonna go
To the woods.
To New
your
York
tiny
City.
house in the woods.
Yeah, you're not gonna. You just walk the woods, go on a trail. Go in the woods. You're going to go to anywhere you want to go. You'll be able to go and just walk around.
Virtually.
It's going to be, you know what it is? It's going to be Wall-E. Remember Wall-E?
Yeah.
With just fat people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Ready Player One.
Yeah, that was a fucking great movie.
Great fucking movie.
Yeah.
Are they doing a 2? You said you read the book, right?
The book I read, yes. I mean, the movie and the book for the first one were not the same thing. So I don't know. 2 would just be a different story too.
It'd be great though, like even my special, if that was, if we did virtually, if we put a virtual camera, I think the setup is weird. You have to put it in a front row seat, and it has to, I don't know, it has to go up in a certain way, and then you have to join these videos together. You have to like put them together the way you put it together. But think about that. If you're all over the world, if you could go to my special live the night we taped it, I could have sold tickets to the special worldwide.
Yeah.
Like, you're filming your next special. Come see it. You don't have to be where it is.
Right.
All over the world. Come sit front row at my special for $50. You can be at the special. And everybody around the world puts their goggles on, is front row at your special live.
That's amazing.
That's fucking nuts. They have it where you're going to be able to go to football, basketball. You'll buy a season ticket to a game, and you're sitting there at the game, watching it live from the 50-yard line.
Wow.
That would be great.
That would be great.
That'd be great.
Again, like the UFC thing that they're doing.
Yeah,
Which
UFC.
they're already doing. When is the first one supposed to happen?
I was trying to find the video I saw of it. It says that it's like with UFC Fight Pass.
So is it one of the smaller productions? Because UFC Fight Pass has a bunch of like farm sort of leagues where guys start out and then they wind up making it to the UFC afterwards.
Yeah.
LFA.
Yeah, LFA.
144.
LFA is one of them. That's a big one.
So they just did it.
Oh, they did it already.
I mean, that's what it says. It was on the 14th.
Do they have like a video
I'm
preview
looking
of what
at
it looks
this,
like?
Try to find that.
Yeah, between that, games, porn, entertainment, movies, all that. Yeah, they're setting us up for the Matrix.
Yeah.
It's just a slow burn. And it's going to be fucking weird as shit, dude. Oh, wow.
So this is the person's view. You can see their hands.
So that's like my seat.
Yeah.
That's like my seat when I do commentary, right there.
That's crazy.
It
That's
seems like it does
nuts.
change a little bit, and I don't know. You probably don't have control over that from my experience watching other streams, but maybe they might have changed that now too. They might not change views.
I mean, that's awesome, but there's nothing like being there.
No, there's
And you're getting the commentators in your ear, which you don't get live.
Busted, he's bloody, but he's still very much in this fight. Look at that, nice elbow scrapes, looking for that toe.
what is that?
That's the menu that popped up. This
Oh.
is literally off of someone's helmet.
Slips
Like
out.
Oculus they're
But he's
watching.
not out of trouble. No.
This is pretty
Maybe it
fucking
doesn't
good.
change.
This is pretty fucking good. Oh, he's got the choke.
Can't help but commentate.
Yeah, he's got it. He's turning the wrong way. He got it.
Wow.
There is a new lens that Canon has developed that I've seen some content made, and I tested it with the Oculus to see what it looked like. It looks like stuff is right in front of you, and you can reach out and touch it. It's very strange how well it
Wow.
looks. But the way you make that, it has to be in 8K, and it's very intensive computer process right now to get that done. So it's very like short content. You can watch it with that.
Is it because there's like it's too much data?
Yeah, it's 8K for each eye, and the way that that's done is it's making it on. It's a split, like the lens instead of being like one camera, it's splitting two and making one file. I'm not even explaining it very well, but it's so that color correction doesn't get fucked up and everything looks exactly the same from the same source. It's very hard
This
to match
is
two things up.
Fast.
It's fast.
I talked to my grandfather, who's 100, and I go, "What's the greatest piece of technology you've ever seen?" And he said, "The radio." Fucked him up.
The radio fucked him up.
Fucked him up. He goes, I couldn't believe a voice was coming out of a box
Do you
from somewhere else. And now to think about this shit.
do you remember the story of Orson Welles, the War of the Worlds?
Yeah.
Orson Welles he read from H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds. It's H.G. Wells, right? The book? He read the story on the air, and they read it like it was news reports.
Yeah.
Like that we're being attacked by Mars.
Yeah.
And people started freaking the fuck out because if you didn't tune in time to hear that this is just like this is a performance, people thought when they tuned into the radio that we're being attacked
By aliens.
by aliens.
Yeah.
So what year was that? With the War of the 19 what?
1938 Halloween.
So 1930 Halloween. 1938, the infamous War of Worlds radio broadcast was a magnificent fluke. Orson Welles and his colleagues scrambled to pull together the show and ended up writing pop culture history. So this was 1938, and so it was the H.G. Wells classic, The War of the Worlds. But I believe they added things to it, like they made it seem like there was legitimate news broadcasts, and it caused a nationwide hysteria. And he was 23 years old when he did it. Oh, by the next morning, 23-year-old Wells' face, name were on the front page newspapers coast to coast, along with headlines about the mass panic his CBS broadcast had allegedly inspired. I think people killed themselves.
What?
Yeah.
Jesus.
I think, see if there was a suicide. I think at least one, it might have been just a report of a suicide to like sensationalism, because journalism was very hard to fucking vet back then. I wonder if that's true, because I do remember saying that people killed them, or that reading that people killed themselves.
There was a lawsuit in 1960 about it.
Dude, I had this guy on the other day, Ryan Graves. He was an advanced fighter pilot for the Navy, and in 2014, they updated all of their radar systems, and they started seeing UFOs everywhere. So all over the East Coast in the ocean, when they would travel out the ocean to run these training missions, they started seeing these objects that defied physics. These objects that were like 25 feet wide, they were hovering, totally stationary, with 130-mile-an-hour winds, which he said just doesn't make any sense how they could do that. It wasn't drifting back and forth. It was just completely stationary. And then they would move off at close to the speed of sound. They would fly in formation. They would go in and out of the ocean. And he said people had reported these things before. He goes, but once they updated their radar systems, they were finding these things on their radar every single flight almost. He said 90% of the missions that they did, they encountered these things. He said they just didn't know they were there before.
But why? Like, I believe in aliens. I believe there's other life. I believe in all that shit. But why don't they? I don't understand. Like, why don't they say hi?
Well, we don't know what the fuck they are. We don't know if they're drones.
Is it like some China shit where it's just
could be. We don't know if it's from another country. We don't know if it's our stuff that they don't have information.
like if a ship just came down right now in Austin, and would you go and check it out, or would you go the fuck home?
Go the fuck home.
Go the fuck home.
I'm not going to be the first guy that gets eaten.
I'm not going.
Look, imagine how when I go to the woods looking for an elk, they're going looking for a fat person. I'm not going to be that guy.
No.
I'm not going to be that first guy that gets eaten.
You're not going to be the people on top of the building
Yeah.
in Independence Day, and then they just blast it out. I'm out too.
Yeah, they're going looking for dummies.
I'm going right up into the woods.
Yeah.
Going to my tiny house.
Fuck
Hopefully
that.
we're the last people they find.
If they're here to help us, you'll find out about it eventually. You don't want to be one of the first guys to get scooped up like Richard Dreyfuss in Close Encounters of the First Kind. That fucking movie, that was wild shit, man. I remember that movie, like all of a sudden people started like seeing things in the sky. They pretended they saw things.
Well, everything that science fiction, it seems like it's coming true. Mm-hmm. Like if you look at Star Trek, we have better technology now
Way better.
than they
They
had
didn't
then.
even have the internet. They had walkie-talkies. They didn't even have cell phones.
Yeah, they
it was
didn't-
Kirk out.
They didn't have
They had
video
to hang
chat.
up. They had a stupid flip phone. Meanwhile, they could transport to another planet.
They had Dave Attell's phone. I love him. He has a flip phone.
He does.
He's the best.
He's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't anticipate the internet. I mean, that was the big mind blower.
So if they wanted to take you, you wouldn't go.
No chance. Fuck
So
you.
if they were like, Joe, we're big fans of your podcast. We've been listening.
Good, be a guest.
You'd
Come
have
sit
him-
right there.
You'd have him in here?
100%.
How great would that episode be?
That would be insane. I would 100% have an alien on the podcast. Yeah, if you're hearing me, I think I already have had one on.
What?
Elon, he's been on 3 times.
You think he's an alien?
Yeah. Yeah, he's not one of us.
You think he's from another planet?
He's either one of us from the future or he's from another planet.
You see him blink sideways or something?
There's just something about him. He's too smart. I liken our friendship to the intellectual equivalent of a boy and his dog. That's what it's like when I talk to him. I'm like, we're not the same thing. He's so advanced. He's running like 4 different world-changing industries simultaneously.
Yeah.
I mean, who the fuck else is running like an electric car business along with an internet satellite high-speed data business along with a revolutionary rocket business that could not just shoot rockets into space but have the rockets land.
Right.
They come back and land.
Right.
No one's been able to do that before. This motherfucker's doing that while he's doing 3 other things.
And the boring.
Yeah. Oh, and he's digging tunnels under cities and shooting cars through them to fix traffic.
Yeah.
He's running all these things simultaneously while he's making kids. While he's made like 9 kids.
Do you ever think that you were like back from Massachusetts that you'd be hanging out with a guy like that?
No.
Is it crazy?
Dude, I barely could imagine being a professional comic. That was the goal. When we were kids, the goal was, I mean, I started out with Fitzsimmons and, you know, we did open mics together, we traveled together. And I remember we always would talk about the goal was to be a professional. Imagine if we didn't have a job.
Yeah.
Imagine. Because Greg back then was working for catering companies. So he would do catering. You know, he'd like serve food for people. And then he would go and do the open mic nights and shit like that. And I was driving limos. And in the beginning, I was teaching martial arts. But I got to a point where I realized I could not teach the same way. I was not fully invested in it. And it felt wrong to me. I wasn't giving them my all.
Yeah.
Because it was very important to me. Because it was important to me as a kid when I was, you know, when I had instructors that were really good. And so then when I started running a school and I realized that I wasn't all in anymore, I had to stop. So I had to stop fighting, I had to stop teaching, and I had to really concentrate on comedy.
Yeah.
One of the things that like this guy said to me, it was kind of a rude thing to say, but I knew he was right. When we were like 6 months in, this kid, fucking Jonathan, I forget his last name, but he was one of the guys that I started out with. And, you know, we were all open micers, and we were all just talking about comedy and this and that. And he said to me, he goes, you started out really good. He goes, but it seems like somewhere along the line you just started kind of coasting. And I was like, ugh. And I couldn't say anything. I couldn't go, fuck you. I was like, oh my God, he's right. And I remember thinking that. He's right. He wasn't being mean. He was just being honest. And it hurt because it was accurate.
Yep.
And I remember and he wasn't trying to be a dick either. He was just telling me.
Yeah.
You know, and I remember thinking, oh man, he's right. And I immediately said, I have to quit. I have to quit fighting. I have to quit teaching. I have to quit. I got to be all in on this comedy thing.
Yeah. Comedy is, you have to be married. It has to be your lover.
You got to be all in.
I remember you gave me the best advice ever. You remember the first gig we ever did together?
What did I say?
Aku Aku, remember that?
Oh yeah, Dick Doherty, Comedy Hut.
The Comedy Hut. Remember that?
Yeah.
It was in Cambridge.
What did I say?
I can't, because I saw you do that comedy, the MTV thing, and like you were my guy. You were the guy that I was like, that's comedy to me. All this other 7-minute bullshit and evening at there was just garbage to me. So I finally, Dick Doherty, you were coming to town, and I was like, Dick, I want to work with Joe, please, please, please. And he put me on the show with you, and I ran up to you after the first show, and I was like, hey man, and you were so cool, and I was like, hey man, can you please give me advice? Like, what do I do? Like, just give me a little advice. And you're like, yeah, no fucking advice. Don't take any advice from any comic ever. Just get on stage. That's all you have to do. Get on stage and become who you're going to become. This business will shit you out, or you'll be a comic, and you'll figure out who you're supposed to be by getting on stage. You go, if I tell you what to do, you're going to be fucked. Don't listen to anybody. Just do stand up. That's all you told me. And I was like, that was it.
Pretty solid advice.
Best advice I ever got. I mean, really, best advice I ever got. You know?
Well, I think I would revise that. I would say people can give you advice. They can give you advice on like economy of words. They can give you advice on, you know, how to develop timing and, you know, how to not present your jokes.
Sure.
How to just kind of be yourself
as you go,
on stage.
as you get better,
Yeah.
sure. But as a young comic, just getting on stage was the key.
I think back then I was 24 or 25.
You might have been 25. I think I was 23 or something.
Yeah. How old are you now?
52.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm 55.
Okay.
So I was 3 years older. than you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were just kind of figuring it out, and I was just becoming a pro back then. That was when I was already living in New York and going back and forth to Boston.
Yeah.
And I was just legitimately becoming a headliner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would go up and, I mean, I remember we did it, the show, and I did great. I thought I did great. And you went up and you were like, what's up? And you had this, I don't know, intense, it was over. Like it was a different show. I remember you just went up and you murdered at a Chinese restaurant in Cambridge.
Those are the best.
Those are the best days. Yeah.
I loved those days. Those days were fun. No responsibility, no money.
No money.
No money.
Wasn't
you
about
know?
money.
No.
It wasn't about money. It wasn't about anything. It was about getting on stage and getting laughs.
You're trying to become a professional.
The Kowloons, I remember that. I mean, my squad was Billy, Patrice, Dane, Gulman,
Yeah.
Bob Marley,
Yeah. Bob Marley, the king of Maine.
the best.
He's the king.
He's
you
the
go to
king.
Maine, he sells out fucking multiple shows in theaters every night.
Yeah.
He's a killer.
And he's one of those guys who was in LA, got all the deals, and then said, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm going to be happy.
Yeah.
I'm going to be happy.
Yeah.
Sold all his homes, bought a house in Maine, and then he just tours Maine, and he's one of the nicest guys.
He
And
still tours occasionally other places.
still one of the funniest guys.
Oh, he's fucking hilarious.
I was doing a show at Just for Laughs, and he rolled in at the end. We were all killing. 3,000 people, that big gala. He rolled in with a baseball hat, because we're all, got our nice shirt. Everybody's all dressed up for the gala. He rolls in with a baseball hat and a stupid T-shirt. Rolls in, fucking boo, bah, bah. Doesn't swear, doesn't talk, no dirty, just murders.
just having fun.
Yeah.
I first met him. I was doing a show in Bangor, Maine, and he did a guest set.
Yeah.
It was the first time I met him. He's living in Maine. I was like, who's this kid? Some local kid wants to do a guest set?
So funny.
Fucking funny as shit. Real fun, and had all this local Maine humor, and they were dying.
Yeah.
They loved it.
Yeah.
He was funny, man.
Yeah.
Still is.
Yeah, still
but
is.
I occasionally will see him, like at the Comedy Works in Denver. He'll be on the schedule. He gets out there.
He does get out there, yeah.
Yeah.
But he does. He tours around. He's. I love him. I love the idea of him. Just saying, forget about making it, whatever that is.
Yeah.
I'm going to just have.
Just be a normal person.
And do
well,
comedy.
some people that were just so normal.
Yeah.
That whole idea of sort of prostituting yourself for Hollywood was just felt so gross to them. They just couldn't take it for very long.
Yeah.
And they wound up bailing.
Yeah.
Which is, we all were tricked into thinking that the only way to be a professional comic was to get on television. Like that was all anybody wanted you to do. Like that was the holy grail, was to become Roseanne Barr or to become Jerry Seinfeld, to have your own sitcom. That was the thing. So we all went out there. And it just like you got integrated into this weird fucking system where it just felt so the opposite of what we got in it to do. What we got in it to do was to become Sam Kinison.
Right.
We got in it to become like those comics that we would want to go pay to see.
Yeah, I would always get fucked up going to L.A. too, because I was, I've been skinny and fat my whole life, and I would always be on one of my fats when I had to go to L.A. And I felt like shit because everybody's. I always just felt fucked up when I went out there. Like I was just not what I was supposed to be. You know what I mean? Because I felt like, like you're supposed to look a certain way. You're supposed to be a certain way physically.
Yeah.
And that's not what comedy,
No.
Comedy, you can be whatever the fuck you want. That's why I love Louis' special when I saw he had stains on his shirt on one of his specials. I was like, he's just funny.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, he went back to that, right? Remember he was wearing suits for a while?
when?
Oh, yeah, he wore a suit for like 2018, the special
Yeah.
2018.
Yeah.
He wore a suit. It was a great special, too. It's a fucking great special. And I remember talking to him at the store. He's like, yeah, I like going on stage with suits. I
You
wear
go on,
suits now.
you do suits now, right?
I occasionally do suits. I started doing suits when I started doing shows with Chappelle, because Dave and I were doing these arenas, and then one day I showed up with the suit. He goes, "Oh, we wearing suits now?" And then he started wearing suits. He would wear suits occasionally, and then I got David August to make me some custom suits when we were. I had done a few before with suits on, but then we were doing the MGM. I did the arena, and I did it with Brian Simpson, who's fucking brilliant, Tony Hinchcliffe, who's fucking hysterical, and this kid Hans Kim, who's this up-and-coming kid who's a murderer.
heard
He's
about him.
so good.
Yeah.
He's fucking funny. And you'll see him tonight. You coming tonight? We're
Yeah.
doing a show tonight?
Yeah.
You'll see him tonight. And Brian's on tonight, too.
Oh, great.
So we were doing this. It was a big deal. We're going to headline the MGM Grand Arena. I'm like, I'm getting everybody suits. So I got custom tailor came down, fitted everybody for suits, and we all wore these fucking Reservoir Dog suits. And we went up, and I'm like, this is the shit. It's fucking, it was just exciting to we got there,
Yeah.
got to the arena, spark up a joint, put on the fucking music. I brought like a big old Bluetooth, speaker thing. We crank up some fucking great tunes, and we'd all fucking put our suits on. We're ready to go to work. We're fucking professionals.
I have a whole closet full of suits of different sizes. Of my 5th fat, my 4th fat, my 6th fat.
Well, you look good, man. You look like you're losing weight.
I lost 70 pounds.
That's incredible.
I got the gastric sleeve surgery.
Did they reverse that? Can they reverse that, or is that like for life?
There's 3. Dude, I was 350 pounds.
Whoa.
I believe you said it best. I saw the one with you and Louie and Joe, and you were like, Bobby ate himself into a shape.
Well, when I first met you, you were young and thin and good looking.
I was gorgeous, but I remember I've met you twice. That was so funny too. It was such a perfect description. I met you at UFC 100, and you came out of the back. You went, you looked at me and go, "What happened to you?" I was like, "Hey Joe, how you doing?" No, it's been an addiction for me since I was a kid. It was my first addiction when I was a kid. Was food. It was I remember when my mom, I had an abusive stepdad for a while, 5 years, and I had nobody. And I remember I found food. Like I would wake up in the morning and say goodbye to my mom in 6th grade, go out the front door, go around the back, crawl into the basement. And in the corner of the basement, I had a little pillow and a blanket, and I would just sit there all day and I would eat.
So you'd pretend you were going to school?
I'd pretend I was going to school because I was just so afraid. I had no friends. I had nobody, and I was in a major depression. And I didn't know it. And I would sleep in the basement, and I remember I would just eat food like, Suzy Q's and Ring Dings, and it just made me feel almost like a friend, I just had a problem. And I remember I got real big, and then my sixth grade teacher, actually, Mr. DiPerzio, got me into running. It was like all of a sudden he became my dad. He kind of took me under his wing, and we were at the Olympics. You remember the 6th grade Olympics? And it was just horseshit thing, but I remember we had to do the 440 all the way around the track. And I remember he came up to me and goes, "Kelly, you got to win. I want you to win." And I remember I was like, "I'll win. I just wanted somebody to fucking believe in me." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I remember I was racing against this skinny black kid, fast as lightning. And I remember we were running, and I fucking won. I remember I beat him, everything I had, and I won. Wow. And I just felt fantastic. I started jogging. I started doing marathons.
Wow.
But, then I got into drugs. After that, I found drugs. And very shortly after that, in 7th grade. And then I, of course, went to, jail. I think I went to jail the first time at 13.
Jesus.
Yeah, that was terrible.
What'd you go to jail for?
Unarmed robbery, assault and battery, malicious destruction, trespassing, and breaking probation.
Holy shit!
So
breaking probation at 13.
I was on
probation.
I was on probation at 12.
Oh my God! For what?
I robbed a canteen truck of cigarettes and fucking, I think, Twinkies.
Wow.
So I got on probation for that, and then, yeah, it was terrible. I remember that we went
to jail at 13.
Yeah, my bail was, I think, $10, and my mother didn't pay it because the judge said, she said, "What do I do?" And he was like, "Let him go through the system. Let him go." And my mother listened to him.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was bad because I remember I was in the jail cell, Somerville Courthouse. The jail cell's downstairs. The regular prisoners and the juvie stay downstairs. So I had my own jail cell. And I remember I was looking at it like, pay the fucking money. Because all my friends' moms paid.
Oh.
And they got out. And I went, they take you downstairs, and she came down. And I walked up to her, and I was just crying. And she was like, "Bobby," she's crying, "I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah." And I just turned around and started doing push-ups. And then they came and got me, and they throw you in the van. The regular prisoners would be in the back of the van, and the juvies are in the front, behind the drivers on a bench. And I just remember the real prisoners just, "Hey, little bitch," I was shitting my pants. And they take you up to Danvers State Hospital. Danvers State gave, the morgue they gave to the detention, the juvenile detention. So you go up there, it's called intake. And you get up there, and there's a bunch of other kids. They strip search you, and you got to get naked and do jumping jacks. I'm 13. You got to bend over. It was embarrassing. It was terrible. And you go into this room, and there's all these other kids of all nationalities just in this room watching this one TV. I remember they came in with a box of deli sandwiches and chocolate milk, and everybody ran over and grabbed it. You grab a sandwich, and they had these purple onions on top, these wet onions, because I think they were old sandwiches that they would donate to the juvies, and they all took them and threw it on the ceiling. And I looked up on the ceiling, there was just years of onions on the ceiling. It was fucking terrifying. And then the kid comes up, he's like, hey man, when they call you out, ask them where you're going. And if they don't tell you, it's somewhere bad. If they tell you, it's somewhere good. So like Kelly, I went out, they start shackling me, and they handcuffed me, and I'm like, where am I going? And he just looked at me, and he shook his head. And they shackled me to two other 18-year-olds. I was 13, and they took me to the Charlestown Y. So the Charlestown Y, the bottom floor was the Y, but the top floor was a juvenile lockup. So you had to go through the gym, go upstairs, and they take you into this room, and I got strip searched. I had to get naked. You go, and then you have to take a shower. I was 13. I had a little pecker. I think I had 4 pubes. And I'm showering with these 18-year-olds next to me. I was scared shit. That night, some kid got a pencil in his eye from another kid. And then you go into this room with just bunk beds, steel bunk beds filled in the room. And the highway, I don't remember, the Charlestown Y, the highway with 93 was right there. So it's just cars, like as close as me and you, were just whipping by on the highway all night long. And I went to jail, and from there you just go to another jail. I think it was till I was 15. I was going in and out of juvie jails and foster homes.
Jesus Christ.
Because once you're in, you're in.
So if your mom had just paid that $10, you would have never been
I'd probably be dead.
Really?
I'd probably be in jail. Real jail. That saved me. And, there's that thing where it's like, that. I don't know if you've heard that thing where, you don't know, is it good or bad? I don't know yet. You don't know if something's good or bad yet. You got to wait. You think something's terrible, right? But you don't know. It could be good. You just don't know yet. It feels like shit, and it felt like shit. But if she didn't do that, I wouldn't have got sober. I got sober at 15. I went to a place called the Road Back. I got arrested again, upstate New York. They shipped me back to Boston because I was a ward of the state. You're owned by Massachusetts. So they shipped me back down. I went back to jail. And then I finally realized, look, drugs and alcohol, that's what it's not people, places, and things. It's my drinking. It's my drugs. I go, I need to go somewhere.
What drugs?
Everything. I did everything. Anything you put in front of me. I wasn't doing drugs because I like drugs. I was doing drugs because I didn't want to be alone anymore. I didn't want to go back to that basement by myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't want to be that anymore. That was terrifying to me. So if I had to do drugs or I had to drink, I would do whatever the fuck it took to have friends, to have a group of people to belong, because I didn't have anybody. So these kids, I got to the point where we would move around. Like I'd get out of the jail, I'd go to a foster home, and then I would go home from there. And my parents were somewhere else. Like they were in Spencerport, New York. They were in Bensalem, Pennsylvania. And what I would do is I'd go on the first day of school, and I would get into trouble, go to detention, because those are my kids. So I'd get in trouble, go to detention, and I'd always have weed. I'd always have a couple joints. And as soon as I got to detention, I'd lean over to the toughest looking kid. I'd be like, you want to smoke some weed? Friends, immediate friends. Yeah, sure. We'd smoke weed, and those are my guys. And then I'd hang up with them for the duration until in Bensalem I wound up running away and getting arrested again. And then in, Spencerport, New York was the last time. I got drunk. We fucking stole gumball machines. I went to jail for gumball machines. It was stupid. It was terrible because, I drank a half a bottle of scotch. I drank a bunch of beers, and we did whippets. And they were like, I want these gumball machines. So I just took them and smashed them. And the cops came. I remember I was running from the cops down the railroad tracks. I hopped the fence. And as soon as I hopped the fence, there was a shotgun right in my face. And the guy made me get down. The cop, he's like, freeze, get down the ground. And he goes, if he moves, shoot him. And I was like, it was gum.
Oh my God.
They took me to jail up there. And that was the worst jail I've ever, Rochester, New York was the worst jail I've ever been in. And, they put me in a room, and that was the first time I literally asked for help. I was just like, help me. Please, just help me. I'm done. I know it's drugs. I know it's alcohol. Please help me get help. I need it. I just gave up. I gave up. The first time I was like, this is it. And then I went to jail to Boston. They flew me on a plane. Remember I was smoking on the plane?
Wow.
I asked the flight attendant, can you give me a light? She just got me a light, and I lit up in the fucking plane.
Because you could smoke on planes.
Smoke on plane. I was 15. Wow. And right when I got off the plane, there was 2 state troopers waiting for me, and they handcuffed me, took me to jail. And then I met this guy in NFI Shelter Care. Was this Yitzhak. His name is Yitzhak. He developed this system for juveniles that it was called open door setting, normalization. There was no locks on the doors at NFI. There was no, guards, really. They had people there at night, but you could run. You could leave. Walk right out the fucking door. But they incentivized you. 30 days, you got steak. 60 days without a run, lobster, dinners. They gave you responsibility as a kid. And we all kind of formed together to kind of keep each other in check to receive these benefits. And they gave you, help. They talked to you. Instead of these other places, you just went in and did your time. This place was all on you. We had school. We could go, they took us to the beach. They loaded us I remember they took all these juvies. We'd load up in a van and go to Gloucester or Wingashiek Beach, and we'd just sit on the beach and have fun. They gave you these incentivized things to not leave. And then the guy came up to me. He's like, you can go to rehab. We got you set up. You can go to 6 months co-ed, or you can go to a year all boys. And I was like, what do I do? He's like, knowing you, year all boys. If you go with his girls, you'll fuck up. You'll fuck up. You'll try to bang the chicks. You'll try to have sex, and you'll fuck it up. So I did. I listened. I was like, okay. And I went to the road back. It was a house, again, normalization, no bars, no nothing. I showed up, and I was sitting in this room. This guy, Tom Tompkins, used to be, had a lot of money. His wife was a famous opera singer. He was in show business, and he lost it all from alcoholism and drugs. So he started this house called the Road Back. And I remember I was sitting there petrified, and all of a sudden he comes down, there's all the staff, and there's this one kid fucking being, fuck this place. I don't want to fucking be here. Fuck this. I want the fuck out, screaming and yelling. And he came down the stairs, this old dude, gray beard, psoriasis. He had a misty cigarette, those little slim and sassy, just smoking it. And he came down. He goes, where's this fucking fuck up? Where's this cocksucker that wants to leave? The kid's like, me. He's like, you want to fucking leave? You want to get the fuck out of here? Get the fuck out. There's the door, you fucking pussy. And one of the counselors, the new counselors, was like, hey, maybe we shouldn't. He goes, fuck you, you're fired. Get the fuck out. He goes, you want to go? Fucking leave. There's the fucking door, okay? I'm trying to save your life, you little fuckhead. I'm trying to save your life. If you want to fucking live, stay here and shut the fuck up. If you want to leave, get the fuck out. But I care about you, and I don't want you to fucking die. And the kid starts crying, and he's like, yeah, okay. Are you staying or leaving? He goes, I'm going to stay. He goes, great. I'm glad you're staying because you're gonna save your life now. And then he goes, where's Kelly? I'm like, right here. And he goes, meet me upstairs. And I went upstairs. The sweetest human being I've ever met. I mean, he just saved my life. This guy was the best person I've ever met in my life. He used to take us to his house to build entertainment systems. and he would fucking give us Elio's pizzas and little cakes and shit. I thought he was trying to fuck me. You know what I mean? I was like, you know what I mean? Because every once in a while, these kids would just take off in the van. I'm like, it was like, Kelly, come on, let's go. I'm like, I gotta fucking suck this guy's dick now. Fuck. I gotta have to blow this old guy in his house for cakes and pizza. You know what I mean? But he didn't. He was just fucking wanted us to get better. I remember he would give us old clothes. He had cashmere sweaters. I didn't even know what the fuck that was. He had all these clothes from when he was rich that he would give us because we had no clothes. We had no money. We had nothing. So you'd be going to AA meetings. So 14 months of my life, I was in this place where I was going to meetings, I was going to groups, and I was learning about my addiction, learning about what the fuck was my problem, learning to love myself, learning to care about myself. And I remember when I got out, I was petrified. The first day out, 14 months later, I haven't seen my family for over a year. And I got out and I asked the guy, I go, what do I do? He goes, go to a meeting far enough away where you can't walk home. Get a ride there, but don't get a ride home. So I did that, and I went to a meeting, a young people's meeting, and they dropped me off. I got the meeting, and I kept asking people, right away, can you give me a ride? No. Can you give me a ride? No. All of a sudden, this dude, Mark Caesar, long-haired dude, sleeves, chains, rock and roll dude, walks in. I remember him from coming to do meetings at the place. I go, can you give me a ride? And he was like, fucking sure. No fuck. Come on, let's go. He went over to the piano, started playing, all these chicks around him. I was like, what the fuck? Then we went to a Bickford's and we talked about spirituality. We talked about program all night till like 2 a.m. with these hot chicks and him. And he was this rock dude from Berkeley. And he became my friend, and we wound up going to meetings every night. And I got sober and I got my shit together. And he's still my friend to this day. He's still one of the funniest guys I've ever met. We used to go to AA dances, dude, in like church basements on Fridays and Saturdays and just go down and, always close on Stairway to Heaven. And you'd get some chick 2 months out of rehab. She's still fucking shaking and you just dance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it saved my life, that place. Wow. And the NFI Shelter Care, giving me the responsibility and the respect as a human being to make a choice. And then this road back, Tom Tompkins, he used to call me cunthead. Because if you fell, a bunch of little cunts would fall out of your head. Because all I thought about was chicks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember there was this girl in the program. This is the saddest shit ever. This is when I first saw comedy, too. This blonde chick, she had beautiful hair, just gorgeous in the meetings. And I could never talk to her. We just would say hi, and we had this thing. I get out, they have this thing called ICIPA. It's called the International Conference of Young People in AA, where thousands of people, young people in AA, would converge on one town. And it was Boston. The year I got out, it was Boston at the Park Plaza Hotel, right? So it's all young people trying to get sober. And I remember we all got hotel rooms, and I went there and they did a sobriety count, dude. Thousands of people in the room, all the way down to one day. It was like fucking, 60 years. All these people had these 20, 30, 10, a week down to one day. And there was like this one girl that had one day, and the place just went, it was erupting.
Wow.
And I remember I saw that girl from the rehab, and I went up to her and I was like, oh my God, what's going on? I was like, I can finally talk to you. And she was like, yeah, we should hang out. And I was like, yeah, definitely. We'll hang out later. There's a comedy show if you want to go. And she's like, yeah, sure. Meet me later. And I remember I gave her this red balloon. I was like, here, this is for you. Because I didn't know how to pick up chicks anymore. Like I cleaned the slate. Like when I was drinking, I could pick up girls. When I became sober, I was fucked. I started talking about one day at a time, and you just gotta accept life on life's terms,
Right.
And so chicks don't want to hear that shit, right? So I remember I gave her the balloon, and then I saw her walking with the balloon, and I followed her, And she went to an elevator with some dude. And I remember I went up, I saw the floor, and I went up to the floor. I wanted to go to the comedy show. It was starting. So I went down the hallway, and the balloon was in front of a door. And I walked up to the door, and I just heard her getting blasted out by some dude. So sad. I took the balloon. I just walked back. I walked back down the hallway. And I remember I went to the comedy show, and I sat up front, and there was these two guys there, and they were fucking, man. I was just like, oh my God, this is nuts. I was dying laughing.
How old were you?
I had to be like 17. 17. I was probably 16 or 17. And I remember I reached up. The guy was saying, thank you, good night. And I reached up, and the guy reached down and touched my hand. And I was like, he fucking touched me. That's why I always take a picture. I'll always shake somebody's hand after a show. If someone you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll always do that because that fucking affected me so much. You know, seeing that show took me out of that shit that I was just holding a red balloon about to kill myself and drink again, you know?
Yeah.
And that show lit my world up. And I remember I went to a meeting after that. I was fucking great. I was solid after that.
Wow. And when did you go on stage first?
I went on stage.
Were you thinking about it after that show?
I was thinking about it constantly.
Before that show or after? Only after
that show. I was like, I actually went to school. I was in high school. I went back to high school, and then I got a scholarship to Bunker Hill Community College for art. I was going to be an art teacher. So I went, you know, my art teacher in high school was just awesome, the two of them. And again, my whole life, I always thought somebody was trying to fuck me. You know, it was this hot chick and this old gay guy, and I was like, oh, they want to fuck me. You know what I mean? Because they would come to lunch with us. I got to blow them with these people and fucking eat her out somewhere in a Cadillac. But they were just nice, you know? Because, you know, I was abused my whole life. I was just fucked by people my whole life. They got me the scholarship, and I went to Bunker Hill Community College for fine art, and I was taking all the shit. And then I did an acting class, and I did, they had a talent show. And I remember me and this kid, Al Del Benny, were in the acting class together, and I was like, let's do sketch comedy. Let's do sketches and improv, because a friend of mine did improv. We can do this. And we had these other two guys in there, and then he was like, I have a friend who happened to be Dane. He could do it too. So he came in, auditioned. I remember auditioning Dane. I gave his start, by the way. And he came in, auditioned. I was like, fuck, he's great. And we went and did this talent show. We did sketches, 2 sketches and an improv. And I remember we did the first sketch and we fucking killed. I remember getting the first laugh. Like the place erupted. And we had to go behind the curtain. I'm like, what the fuck is this? What the fuck was that? Like, they're still fucking laughing. And we had to go back out and we did the thing. And I went back. I remember saying, I'm doing this. I was like, I'm doing this. We're doing this. Fuck this. I quit school. I started booking that group, like at comedy shows. I started calling clubs and places and be like, we're a group, and we started doing this improv shit. You know, we go in and do sketches, and it was the worst improv ever too. It was like if something worked, we'd just do it the next week because nobody fucking knew. But that's how I got started, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
What year was this?
Oh, this had to be, I don't know. I don't fucking know. I had to be 20 something, so it was early 90s. Early 90s.
So that was right when I met you, was when you were with Al. Because it was Al and the Monkeys.
Yeah. Al the Monkeys.
Yeah.
The worst improv group ever, but the funniest motherfuckers around. The comics hated us.
What comics hated you?
Because we would go in and fucking murder.
Who hated you?
Everybody.
I didn't hate you.
No, not you. You weren't there. You were doing your thing, but other...
you mean like at open mic nights?
Yeah, no, like at the clubs, the stand-ups, because they would have to, you know, follow us on a show, and we would go up and just shred it as a group, you know?
And they didn't like that?
We remember the BCN comedy riot?
Sure.
Okay, so we were killing it. We're fucking murdering it. All of a sudden, we get in the BCN comedy riot, the first comedy improv group, sketch group to ever get in. It was all stand-ups. It was the biggest comedy competition in the world at that time. okay? Amateur comedy competition. So we got in it as a group. And I remember we went in to BCN. Remember how big BCN was? Mark Parento.
Sure.
Okay. He brought us in and we went into BCN and we were on the radio because he loved us. The first round, he was like, I love these Al and the Monkeys, He brought us in. We fucking killed on BCN. And this was actually a case where he did want to fuck us, by the way. I mean,
Mark, yeah.
that was actually,
Yeah.
my instincts were right on that one.
Well, he got in trouble for that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Didn't he get kicked off the air for that? Like lost his job?
He was gone by then, but I think he was in DC and then he was, I think he was giving kids Sony PlayStations. But, which is, I mean, it's
Solid deal.
solid deal, man. I mean, it's not an Atari. You know what I mean? He was, but I remember we won that competition, and we got the winners got to play the BCN Comedy Riot. The BCN, the Rock of Boston.
Yeah.
And it's always been at the Paradise, which is 600 people. It's
Right.
great. They switched it that year to the Garden. So, but we're so cocky and we're so fucking full of ourselves that we're like, yeah, we'll do it. Let's go. We didn't even think about it. We didn't understand it. You know, we're doing sketch comedy and improv. There's 14,000 people showing up.
Oh my God.
We just show up at the Garden. We're hanging with the spin doctors. Our dressing room is the girls' bathroom. So all the girls have to come to our bathroom to pee, and that's our dressing room.
What?
Fish was the headliner. They put us in between Fish. No, the spin doctors went up. Little Miss, Can't Be Wrong.
Yeah.
At the heat of that. And right before Fish, which is fucking nuts. We were going up to do sketches and improv.
How much time do you guys do?
We had to do 15 minutes, and they brought us out in front of 14,000 people. We all had, I don't know, I think it was Dane's idea. We all had different colored shirts. So we looked like, a boy band. And we all squatted down, and then when they announced us, we jumped up and spun to the crowd. We just went, what's up? Dude, it went bad so fast. Billy Burr was actually in the crowd. He went to see the show. He was there. It was terrible. It went bad so fast. I remember we were doing a skit, and I remember there was one dude in the front. Keep going. He was like, I love it. And we had to do an improv. We did a sketch. It bombed. You could hear rustling. Just nuts. It was so bad. I wound up taking my shirt off. I was in shape at that time. And I was like, listen, people, we know you didn't come here to see comedy. You came here to see the Spin Doctors. You want to see Fish. But we're going to leave in a second, but give us 3 things that piss you off for our improv. Just fucking shoes and lighters started coming to the stage. They started singing, sha-na-na-na, hey, goodbye. Just grew and grew and grew. We had to walk off stage, go to the back. People were staring at us. I just sat there devastated. It was so bad.
Is that your first time bombing?
Dude, it was my first time bombing, but my first time epically bombing.
In front of 14,000
The comedy
people.
world knew before we knew that we bombed. You know what I mean? Like, we were the motherfuckers, and we were that in a second. Al and Dane left me. They were supposed to pick me up front. I'm standing out front waiting for them to pick me out. As the concert lets out, I'm by a payphone going, where the fuck are you guys? They're like, oh, we went home. They left me. I had to have my uncle to come pick me up. People just walking by pointing at me like, there he is. That's him. Yeah, it was terrifying. It was deadly. I thought my career was over.
Wow.
Done.
Before it began.
Before it began. That's what I said. I was like, fuck this
How
group
much
shit.
time had you been doing stand-up for back
Had to
then?
be like a year and a half, maybe.
So when I met you and you were with Al and the Monkeys,
yeah.
that was around that time.
It was, yeah, it's probably after that, and we started doing stand-up. We were like, we all got to do stand-up. We all got to go on our own, do some stand-up.
Well, what you guys were doing when I met you is you would do sketches, and then you would each do like 5 minutes of stand-up.
That's what we started doing after.
Yeah.
So that we would open with 10 minutes or 5 minutes each, and then do sketches. because we had
You were
to just
doing
go.
sketches first and stand up last when I worked with you.
Maybe we
I
did that.
remember because I remember Dane would always go over his time because you were supposed to do like. I remember, he's supposed to do X amount of minutes. I don't remember what it was, but I remember when is this motherfucker getting off stage?
Yeah.
Because I was headlining.
Yeah, I remember that.
I don't remember people not liking you guys though.
No, they liked us in small groups, but not at 14,000 people.
No, but I
after.
mean comics. I mean, I don't remember
Yeah.
comics not liking you. I don't remember that.
Yeah, they kind of just didn't like the fact that we would come in as a group.
Do you remember Cato and Morin?
Who's that?
They were a group too.
Was it what?
Steve Cato and
Chris Zito, right? No.
No. He was a different guy. Zito was a different guy on his own who wound up being he went on to be like a radio DJ.
Yeah. He's in Springfield. Good guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Cato and Morin were like two guys. Like one guy, there was like a smaller guy and a big guy,
Yeah.
and they were a comedy.
I
group
do
too.
remember them vaguely.
I remember
do.
they got a lot of shit,
Yep.
and I think they branched off. I think Morin went on his own.
Yeah.
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 Remember Fat Johnny and the Round Guy?
Funniest fuck. They were the funniest people ever.
That was a great group. The two of them together, they would rap and shit.
They would. I used
would
to
kill.
do Boston Comedy Club. I think my first show there. I moved to New. I was the last one to move out of New York because I went and did acting for like 2 years.
Red Johnny and the Round Guy.
Red Johnny and the Round Guy.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So I quit comedy. After Dane kind of made it, I remember the group broke up because I think Dane came one day and he was like, I have a show on the night of an Al and the Monkey show. And we were like, yeah, but it's Al and the Monkeys. And he was getting paid more for his single show than we were getting paid for the whole show. So I was like, all right, fuck it, we're done. And I went and just did acting. I was like, I met my acting teacher, Peter Kelly. I did like a couple movies and an off-Broadway play in Boston. I just got into acting.
For how long?
Almost 2 years.
Really?
Yeah, Billy, Dane, Bill, and Patrice and Gary, they were all kicking it. And at Nick's and all that stuff. And I was just acting for around a year and a half, almost 2 years. I just went into just acting.
And how'd you get back into comedy?
It's a disease. It was like a thing. It's like a parasite that's just in you. And I just was like, fuck. And I just went to Nick's one night and I was like, I gotta get back. I gotta do this. And I went in. They were all on stage. They were getting up. They were regulars at Nick's on the open mics on Knox's show.
Yeah.
Kevin Knox had a Wednesday night. People, and I remember I couldn't get up, couldn't get on. Like I had to earn my dues. I was a year and a half behind everybody. So I remember just sitting there night after night, just not getting on and all these other assholes getting on. I was like, fuck. And then I was going to quit again. I was like, Dane, I was talking to Dan. I'm like, I'm done. I'm out. Fuck this. They're letting her on or him on and I can't get on. And he was like, dude, just hang in there. That Noxie walks up literally during that conversation. You want to do 5? I was like, yeah. He goes, you're on next. I was like, great. Noxie went up. Wow, boom, blah, phew, wow, fucking 10,000 beers.
Yeah.
Then he goes, give it up for Robert Kelly. I went up, killed it, just out of pure, just murdered. He's like, come back next Wednesday. And I was just in. I was back in. Yeah. Noxie was the best.
He was great.
The best. He was such a good comic for young comics.
Well, he's just a nice guy.
Nice guy. Billy Martin, another great guy. You know Billy?
Sure.
Love Billy. He
went on to write for Bill Maher, right?
executive producer of Bill Maher. Yeah.
He's still around?
Yeah. Still on the show.
No shit.
I believe so. Yeah. He had the Wednesday night at the Colloons. He would put me up every Wednesday. He hated what I did. He came up to me and goes, I hate your comedy. But you kill. So good for you.
What?
He said that.
What?
He goes, because I would go up and kill. But dude, I was a lot of confidence and a lot of, you know what I mean? I was kind of sucky too. I used to have this thing that I did where I would go up and I was like, what's up? How you doing? All right. You like that your chick? Fucking terrible. Do you ever remember me doing that?
Kinda. I don't know. I mean, I always remember liking you.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I loved you too. I mean, it was great. I was so sad that you lived in New York. But yeah, I started doing stand-up then, and from then I flourished. Do you remember the time I got my ass beat? Remember the time we did that bar? We did some shit bar in New Hampshire or something. I don't know where it was. It was just a bar. and you were headlining. I was on the show.
And you got beat up?
Dude,
I don't remember this at all.
That's
What
why-
happened?
that's why I never would fight a wrestler in my life.
What happened?
Dude, wrestlers are just a different strength. So it's like different, you know what I mean? Like this kid was there at the show. I think you left. You had to go do
I
something.
must have.
And we all
'Cause
went
I
back.
don't remember this at all.
We did the show. It was awesome. You were headlining. We hung out, and then I think I left. I went to this party at this girl's house with all my friends and this kid, this little guy. He was this little guy, and he kept fucking with me. He was like, "Yeah, what's up, man? What's up?" And he kept getting in my face. I was like, "Dude, get the fuck." Finally, it was just like, "Get out of my face, dude. Stop. Get the fuck out. I'm serious." And then, I think. I was like, fuck it, let's go outside. And it was snow. The sidewalks were all ice. I was in cowboy boots. Remember back in the 90s with the little silver tips?
Yes.
I had cowboy boots with tight jeans.
Oh, no.
Dude, I went outside and I remember I had mace. And look, I know you're a real fighter and I know there's a code, but in Boston, fucking sucker punch, whatever you got to do to win, fuck you. I was the king of sucker punches back when I was a juvenile, there's no rules, but there was something, because I was sober now. I had this mace and he's coming out and I just dropped the mace in the snow. I was like, I can't do this.
Oh, boy.
Bad move. He came out and just threw me around. My legs were slipping because I was on my boots and I was we were grabbing and my feet kept slipping. And I remember he picked me up. He headbutted me, came up like that, headbutted me in the face. And then my ankle tore because I slipped on my boots. And then he just picked me up and slammed me to the ground like a fucking rag doll. And my friend was like, all right, he's had enough. And I remember I got my ass beaten. I was so fucking sad. I had to go to the hospital. Remember they had to cut my boot off.
Oh, boy.
Because it was so swollen. I was so sad because I just got the boots. And it was terrible. Hate that. Fucking hate that. After a show. I remember there was a chick there that I was trying to hook up with. She never called me again.
Of course.
Getting your ass kicked is a motherfucker.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Have you ever gotten your ass kicked?
Sure.
Really?
In fights.
No, in life fights.
I didn't get much fights in life. I avoided that because I
Yeah.
was fighting. From
Yeah.
the time I was 15 to the time I was 21, I was traveling around the country fighting in martial arts tournaments.
Right.
So I never got in street fights.
I got beat up so much.
Yeah, I got in like a couple in high school. One time in high school, this dude grabbed me in a headlock and threw me to the ground. And he was going to punch me in the face and decided not to.
Yeah?
I was helpless. And that's when I started wrestling. I was like, fuck, I got to learn how to wrestle.
Yeah.
I remember just like, I'm just so lucky this guy didn't just beat my face into a pulp.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know how to wrestle. Like he got in my face and I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And I was like confused. And I remember he got me in a headlock and just threw me to the ground and then didn't punch me in the face. Like was gonna punch me in the face, but didn't. It's like,
Right.
and I just like, it's okay. And I got up and then I remember avoiding him around the school. Like I'd see him.
It's the
And
worst.
I'd be like, where is he? I gotta go the other way. And I remember like, I hate this. And that's when I started doing martial arts. Because I was like, I gotta learn how to fight.
That's why I put my kid Maximus in jiu-jitsu.
It's perfect for kids.
I put him Matt Sarah. I called Matt.
Oh, that's
I go,
awesome.
He hooked me up with Igor Gracie.
Oh, perfect.
And he's been there for over a year now.
Oh, it's so important for kids to learn how to defend themselves. It'll let you avoid fights.
Yeah.
I remember one time I was in Fenway Park, like that area, and like Kenmore Square, and I was walking down the street, and these fucking kids, I forget it was 2 or 3 kids, I think it was 2 kids, and they were like just street kids, like shitty kids, and he's like, hey man, could I borrow some money? And I go, I don't have any money. He goes, come on man, I know you got some fucking money. And I go, no, I don't have any money. And he goes, man, I'll just fucking take your money. I go, okay. And I keep walking. He goes, where the fuck are you going? And I got to the door of the Taekwondo Academy where I was teaching. And I go, I'm going up here to teach a class. I go, do you want to come up? And we were like looking at each other. And he was like, "You're teaching the class?" I go, "Yeah." And that's when he understood like why I was so confident. Because
Right.
I was trying to figure out, do I kick this guy's head off of his fucking shoulders? Or do I just calmly walk up to the door and go, "I'm going up here to teach a class."
Yeah.
It was one of the more interesting moments in my life because it was a moment where having confidence and really knowing how to fight. And by that time, I was like 17. I had knocked a bunch of people out by then.
Right.
I was used to it. I know how to do it. And I remember just that confidence kept, like, it was confusing for him.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Man, I know you got some money." I go, "No, I don't have any money for you." Yeah. And then when we got to the door, it was like perfect timing, like right when they were starting to escalate shit. And in the door was a logo of a guy flying through the air, kicking another guy in the head.
Yeah.
That was the Jae-Hun Kim Taekwondo Institute.
I took karate for a while. I took Kempo,
Yeah.
Elvis karate.
Ed Parker. Come on, man. Come on, man. That's
Yeah.
my favorite version of Elvis. Pilled up doing karate.
With the gi.
Come on, man. With a gi, with a giant collared shirt under the gi.
Under the gi, yeah.
Yeah.
I took it for a while, but I split my gi. I got fat again. My first girlfriend, when we met, we were both in shape. I was taking karate. She took karate with me. We would go and do karate. But like any relationship, you start getting lazy. We started going to the all-you-can-eat Italian buffet across the street on Route Run. And then I remember one time I went in with like sauce stains on my gi.
Oh, my God.
And then I quit when I split my gi. I went down to do a stupid split, at the beginning when you're
Yep.
stretching and shit. And
It
my
ripped.
gi just ripped. And I just never went back. Ever. I was like, I got to go.
Are you doing anything now to work out while you're losing weight?
I'm working out 6 days a week.
Wow.
The thing with the operation, and it's not for everybody. There's the gastric bypass where they fucking rearrange your shit. There's the
Sleeve.
The sleeve. No, the two. What is it called? The ring.
Band?
The band, which is they put a band over it. I think Ralphie got that twice.
Yeah.
And then the sleeve is the least invasive. It's laparoscopic, and they just make your stomach smaller. So it goes from whatever it was into the size of a banana. And I had to do it. I looked at it like this. 37 years ago, I went to rehab. I went to the road back, and I took myself out of the game for 14 months to get my life back. I gotta work. I got a life. I can't just leave for however long. But my stomach can. You know what I mean? My stomach can go to rehab. Like my insides. It took me like 3 years to make the decision because I want to do it. You want to be a man. I can do this. I can get this fucking done. I go on things and you hear people, just fucking do it. Just do it. But I couldn't do it. I was 350 pounds. I was bigger than any heavyweight champion of the world. I was bigger than any linebacker on any team. I was 5'8". I'm 51 at the time. I got this beautiful son I'm in love with. I got my wife I love. I finally enjoying life. And my son's going to not have a dad
Right.
because of pizza,
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to fuck his life up because I can't stop stuffing my face because whatever the addiction is, because I turned off the other addictions and now I'm addicted to this. And I needed help. And then I'm a member of the cigar club, Cigar Republic. Shout out to those guys. They fucking love you, by the way. It's all men. It's all these guys. You go. It's 24 hours. You get a thing. You go up. It's a lounge. It's awesome. Just a bunch of fucking men. And we smoke cigars, talk shit, watch games, whatever. One of the guys in there is this, dude, Arpan, and he's wound up talking to him. And he's a surgeon. He does these operations. 3 years ago, I started talking to him, and I was like, I can't. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get it done, and maybe we'll talk. We kept doing that, and I couldn't do it, dude. I couldn't get it, and I'm like, I'm gonna die. I had sleep apnea. My feet would tingle in. My heart rate was up. I was gonna be gone. I was gonna stroke out. It was just, either I do it or I don't. And finally, I talked to him, and I'm like, what do I got to do? And he's like, you have to lose this weight before you can't just get the surgery. You have to lose weight. You have to get your BMI down. You have to see a nutritionist. You have to see a dietitian. You have to change the way you're eating before you do the surgery. You have to start this first. I was like, great. We planned it out. I was like, I can do it at this time. And I got my BMI down and I went in for the surgery. And the night of the surgery, I was walking. He's like, you got to walk tonight and tomorrow and every day you have to walk. The night I can only walk the hall once. I went home the next day. I could walk down my driveway and walk back up. The next day I walked down the driveway, walked down the block. I came back. The next day I walked up and down the block. The day after that I walked around the block. I just kept going, walking and walking and walking. Because I knew the key to life is exercise. It's the fountain of youth. And I would be on the road with Louis and he would exercise every day. I would see these people. It's the key. It's the fountain of youth. I just got to move. I don't have to, do all this other shit. I don't have to get a trainer. I don't have to I just have to move. Just move.
Yeah.
And so that's all I did. But the operation allowed me to my addiction couldn't take over. If I eat too much, I get sick. So it allowed me the moments of clarity to understand I'm not hungry right now, but I'm hungry. There's also a thing in your stomach. This isn't theory. This isn't, this is a theory. There's ghrelin cells in your stomach that tell you you're hungry. So when you remove, in theory, and I don't want to get male, you're wrong. I'm just saying, when you remove that stomach, those cells go with it. So you have less of those cells. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that helps you. It helps you not feel that hunger when you're not hungry.
Well, it seems like also you change your pattern. And once you develop a new pattern,
right,
you could really, that pattern, if you stick with it and you get momentum,
mm-hmm,
that pattern can become your new way of thinking, your new way of life. That's how it is whenever I get really serious and start doing something like very serious, it becomes my new thing. And then it becomes easier to do because it's just a part of the day. Like, this is what I do now.
Right.
And then I kind of get obsessed about like staying on that pattern.
Yeah. Like, I mean, like that's the thing I couldn't get to, that's the thing I couldn't get to. But now I lift weights now because, you gotta lift weights.
Your phone is listening to you.
What?
Yeah. Your Siri just kicked on.
Ugh.
That bitch.
Yeah. It's been, I think, 4 months and my whole life has changed.
That's amazing.
Sleep apnea is gone. Resting heart rate's like 58, 52 sometimes. I walk every day. I lift weights 3 or 4 times a week. My pain is gone. My aches and pains are gone.
That's fucking awesome.
Everything's gone.
Beautiful.
I had a pain in the back of my ear that if you touched it, it was like somebody stabbing me. It's gone. Like nobody knew what it was. It's gone. It was weight related. I couldn't.
Probably pushing down on a nerve. All that inflammation.
Something, it's all gone. And I learned how to slow down. I learned how to like eat the right foods. I learned how to like move, just move. Even if it's a mile, just walking. And my whole demeanor changed. There was 2 days I didn't work out and I was fucking grumpy and pissed.
That's me.
And I went like this. I didn't move today.
Yeah.
And I went and I just jumped on the treadmill for a half hour and my fucking day lit up.
Yeah.
I was like,
your endorphins kick in, your anxiety goes away.
Anxiety,
yeah.
I'm less ornery, I'm less angry.
Yeah.
And I can I can fly. Dude, flying as a fat fuck.
Hard.
You develop fat tricks. Like I have a bunch of fat tricks. Like if I remember dropping your ear pod on the plane in mid-flight was devastating because I can't
get it.
So I would just kick it over to the skinny guy next to me, and I'd be like, "Dude, can you get that for me?" Oh yeah, sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Seatbelt, I would have to use my stomach as a third hand. I put the seatbelt in under my stomach to hold it, and then click it to get it on. I used to get sneakers without laces. slip-ons because I was tying you ever see a fat guy? The shoelaces are always tied to the left or to the right because we can't get it in the middle.
Yeah.
Putting my socks on was a nightmare. I had to grab my foot and drag it up to the bed and hold it there, and I'd be out of breath putting a sock on.
Jesus.
But the funny thing is that you learn to live with it. Your body's fucking amazing. Think about it. I was walking around with 12 babies. I was carrying 12 babies all the time. And my body learned how to just fucking do everything I was doing. Get on the plane. I would put my hand, I'd fly with a sweatshirt and put my hand in the sweatshirt so it would hold it. Because I was so big I had to hold my tits. So I didn't hit the person next to me. Because I remember one flight I was holding it with my hands, I fell asleep and I just whacked the chick next to me.
Oh my God.
So I would have to hold my arm in my sleeve to fly. It was, talk about anxiety, talk about feeling like shit all the time in the back of your head that you didn't even know. And now, flying I fucking love it. I love it. I love, getting dressed, taking a shit. Dude, I can wash my balls. Dude, I'm not kidding. Like from behind. Like I remember I opened the bathroom door and I was scrubbing my nuts. I'm like, Dawn, look, I could scrub my nuts. I was like holding my nuts like a Doberman Pinscher. Like, look, I could hold my nuts. She was like, good for you, honey. That's great. You're doing good. That's awesome. She's like, fucking idiot.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I feel this is it. This is I'm not going back.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I'm not going back.
So I'm in the middle of Sober October. I got to end this podcast because I'm in the middle of Sober October. And I got to go home and do a workout.
Yeah.
We have to work out 7 days a week, 360 or 30 days, 31 days, whatever
100 push-ups a day.
Yeah, 100 push-ups a day. I'm also doing 100 bodyweight squats and burn 500 calories.
Yeah.
In a workout.
That's great.
So I got to do it before the show.
Yeah.
And I got to do some ads. So I got to wrap this up. But
All right,
dude,
brother.
it's been fucking awesome catching up with you.
Good to be on.
It was
man.
a lot of fun.
Good to see you too, brother.
It was great to see you doing well, too.
Thanks for letting me promote the
beautiful.
special. And
it's called Killbox.
Yep.
It's on louisck.com.
Yeah.
You can go to check it out right now.
Look how
Go
fat
see
I
it.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome, brother.
Yeah. Thanks, brother.
And we're going to do a show tonight. So we're going to have some fun.
Yeah.
All right. That's it. Bye, everybody.